Good morning, Richa ma'am.
Hello, good morning.
With your
I was
permission,
supposed to be on campus but could not reach because of the huge traffic jam.
yeah, I know, ma'am. And in fact, we are privileged that you are with us. So your presence is enough to get our work done and even for the participants to get motivated. With
I,
your permission, I'd like to start the session.
yes, please start. Yeah, go
Thank
ahead.
you so much, ma'am. So a very warm good morning to everyone. I, Dr. Manisha Srivastava, on behalf of Team CIBMIT, welcome you to day 2. And in our HR track, we have our esteemed panelist and guest, Dr. Richa Chaudhary, and who was supposed to be here with us, but because of some unavoidable reasons, Madam has not been able to make it physically, but she is with us online and we are graced by your presence, ma'am. So let us have a look to the incredible journey that ma'am has actually, ma'am has ma'am has done as a notable academician and a distinguished researcher. So Vishal, could you play the video profile of ma'am?
Dr. Richa Chaudhary is an associate professor and head of Department of Humanities and Social Science at IIT Patna. She obtained her PhD from Department of Management Studies, IIT Roorkee, and holds an MBA with specialization in human resource management. She has done her bachelor's in science in education from Regional Institute of Education, Ajmer, and was awarded with the Best Outstanding Student Award for all her 4 years. She teaches courses on research methodology, human resource management, organizational behavior, entrepreneurship, business ethics, and industrial and organization psychology. She is a prolific researcher and has published a number of research papers in international journals of repute like Journal of Business Ethics, International Journal of Hospitality Management, Personality and Individual Differences, International Journal of Human Resource Management, International Journal of Conflict Management, Personal Review, Journal of Cleaner Production, etc. She has presented her work in national and international conferences of reputes such as Academy of Management, Annual Meeting Organizational Studies, PAN-IIM, Glow Gift, and has number of Best Research Papers Award on her credit. She has been ranked amongst top 2% scientists in the world by Stanford University consistently for year 2020, 2021, and 2022. She has worked as principal director on a number of government projects sponsored by ICSSR and MHRD. She is a regular reviewer of many international journals of repute. She has conducted a number of workshops and short-term courses on research methodology, data analysis. Her current research interviews includes green human resource management, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, workplace incivility, and workplace loneliness. Ma'am, MIT Patna welcomes you.
Welcome, ma'am, once again. And thank you, Vishal. In fact, your prolific expertise in human resource and research methodology is indeed going to help our participants. But before we start the session, I would like to share some details for the participants to understand the marking schema well. The total time allotted to each participant is 10 minutes. Full marks is 10 marks. Risha ma'am will be marking you on some parameters like the rationale of the study, objective, literature review, research methodology, and the findings. The buzzer will ring at exact 8 minutes as a reminder, and then at the 10-minute, I hope the rules are clear to everyone. All the best to all the participants, and we will start our first presentation on artificial intelligence in talent acquisition, a comparative study, and the presenters are Aparna Anup, Devika S. Kumar, Gopika S. and Vandana Mahadevan. All the best to all the presenters. Thank you.
Next one.
Are the presenters here? Aparna, Anup, Devika S. Kumar, Gopika Mahadevan. If you are here, please unmute yourself. Yes, please. I think the presenters are not here. So should we proceed with the second presentation? So the next, influencing the acceptance of artificial intelligence technology in the recruitment process of HRM in India. And the presenter is Mahima Kapoor. So Mahima, welcome for the presentation.
Good morning, ma'am. The topic of my research paper. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
The topic of my research paper is a study on contemporary factors influencing acceptance of artificial intelligence, technology and recruitment process of HRM in India. Introduction part, I have mentioned that in today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, the organization are increasingly turning into artificial intelligence technology to streamline and enhance various business functions, including HRM. The term artificial intelligence refers to the skills applied to accomplish tasks that need to be contributed to certain level of intellect to be achieved. In this paper, I have adapted the UTAUT, Unified Theory of Acceptance Use of Technology, which was proposed by Venkatesh in 2003 from the performance perspective of the recruiters. The application of UTAT in this study contributes to the rising literature on AI acceptance and recruitment from the outlook of human resource professionals. Next slide. In the literature review part, the literature on AI implementation in HRM underscores the significance of several key factors that influence the technology acceptance. HR professionals and that also improves the overall employee experience. AI tools help in recruitment in scanning, screening, selecting the candidates, planning, scheduling, organizing the onboarding activities of new hires. To support this, I have quoted Rajiv Bharadwaj in 2019 stated that AI tools can predict employee requirements in an organization and can retention of the employees. The application of UTAT in this study contributes to the rising literature on AI acceptance and recruitment. From the outlook of HR professionals, it applies to the new technology assessment model to field of recruitment and selection, which both theoretical and has practical implications. This is the conceptual framework which I have taken in my paper. There are 4 variables: performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions. Other variables which affect our gender, age, demographic factors, basically, experience and voluntariness of uses, which directly affects the behavioral intention and the use behavior from the HR side. My research objective was to find the recruiter's performance expectation, use of AI in recruitment, and associate with the social intent to practice them, Secondly, social influence is significantly related to the behavioral intention to use AI tool in recruitment. Thirdly, to suggest that when facility conditions are present, recruiters are more likely to intend to adopt in future. The methodology involved in this paper was study employs a mixed method approach combining qualitative interviews and quantitative surveys. Semi-structured interviews were conducted with HR professionals, hiring managers, employees that were involved in the recruitment activities across the country. Data sampling was, primary data was collected in January 2024 using a self-management questionnaire distributed through Google Forms. The response which I got was around 82 out of 108 circulated questionnaire, which was around 76%. This was a demographic analysis. I have got response from 18 cities through the HR professionals. My findings were against each variables, like the quantitative approach was analyzed in Microsoft Excel, used to examine the relationship between the studied components of UT, performance expectancy, employee effort, social influence, and moderating factors that affect the behavioral intentions to use AI in recruitment. Under each variable, 3 different questions were asked. Firstly, in performance expectancy, I got around 49% positive response that the employees agreed the system they were able to use were very friendly and quick. And HR professional also agreed that the use of AI will help to be useful in their jobs. In effort expectancy, the respondents were asked 3 questions again. Firstly, 49% agreed that the intention with the system was clear. Secondly, 48% around respondents agreed that it was easy for them to become skillful while using the system, and 43% agreed that it was easy to use the system. In the third social influence variable, the respondents were asked again to fill the questions in three different parameters. The first question was in which they responded. 48% of them agreed that people who influence their behavior think that they should use the system. Whereas 54% of the respondents agreed that important people think that they should use the system. It is very empirical to use the system nowadays, which would affect them in the recruitment process. And 79% of the respondents agreed that the organization has supported them to use the system. Lastly, was the facilitating conditions. Again, the respondents were asked 3 questions, and out of which 82% respondents agreed that they have the knowledge to use the system. And in the last question, they answered only 27% said that they were apprehensive about using the system. Conclusion and limitations. AI effectively holds the potential to reform the way organizations attract, assess, and onboard the talent, driving competitive advantage and sustainable growth in digital era. Social influence is significantly related to the behavioral intention to use AI in recruitment. The limitation of my study was that I have used the basic UTAT model. Therefore, additional variables can be added in future studies, like 3 other variables have been added in UTAT too. For future, I might be using that. And it covers only 18 cities of India. So in future, I may be taking other. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mahima. So are there any questions from the audience?
Ma'am, the dais is all yours. So Mahima is there. You can ask the questions.
If there are no questions from the audience, I have some questions. Mahima, you said that you made use of mixed methodology, right, in your research. So, but the results that you presented that only talked about the quantitative results. Can you hear me, Mahima?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you heard my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you hear my question? I asked you a question that you said that you made use of mixed methodology, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But the results that you presented, that only you only showed the quantitative part of it. Can you please explain how
Ma'am,
you
there's
the
a
mixed
network issue. I cannot hear your question, ma'am. There's a network issue. Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you said you made use of the mixed methodology in your research, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But the results that we saw on your slides, that were only quantitative in nature, wherein you just described the percentage of participants who believe that, effort or performance expectancy how many of them believe that it will lead to increased performance or increased ease of usage, etc., right? So so where is the qualitative part of your analysis?
Ma'am, that I've done in my paper because we had to present in a very short slide, given only appropriate time to present.
That's okay. But in the quantitative part also, you have not shown your main results. You have just described the percentage of people who believe in some of your, yeah, can you go back to your model, please? That will help me to, your slide number 4, yeah. So here you started with this particular model, but you have not presented the, the analysis or the results where you have tested this particular model. Just describing the percentages is not enough. So where is the linkage between performance expectancy and behavioral intention and then use behavior? So this has to be quantitatively verified. So where are those results?
Ma'am, that I will add in future, ma'am. I'll do that, ma'am.
So what method you have used to test this particular model? Because it involves mediating variable, it involves control variables. So what technique you have used to test this particular model?
Ma'am, I have analyzed in Excel, Microsoft Excel directly. And the previous analysis, which was present in the research papers that I have read.
So Excel is a tool. I'm talking about what technique you have used.
Descriptive, ma'am.
Descriptive is not enough to test this particular model. Only the descriptive part you have mentioned in your results, that just the percentage wise analysis of percentage of people who said this and that, but that's not the way you test a model, right? You need to go for either structural equation modeling or regression, whatever suits the data that you have collected, right?
Yes,
Because, so you started with certain objectives, so your tools should be appropriate to your research questions.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other question from the participant, the audience here?
Ma'am, the question you have asked Mahima is going to help her write a better paper. Obviously, she is looking for a focused publication.
She is in the year of her PhD.
Yeah, sure. That's why I also said her that please gain through the ma'am's insight and it will help you to write a paper in future. So if she would have used some analysis and then she would have come up with the findings and limitations, so it had been a very substantial paper. But then because she has just used the descriptive, so there is still a lot of learning left for Mahima. Thank you so much for enlightening her, and I think she will incorporate that in her paper.
Yes, can we go to the next paper, please?
Yeah, ma'am, sure. So, Dr. Kanika Gupta, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I'll present Dr. Priyanka.
Okay. So we are now going to have a presentation on bridging traditions with modernity, the relevance of Bharatiya model of leadership Sarthi in business and technology, and the presenter is Dr. Priyanka Rana, Dr. Monica Agrawal, and Kanika Gupta. I think Dr. Priyanka is going to present on behalf of other presenters.
Yes, ma'am, I'll be presenting on the behalf of others.
All the best.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Good morning, one and all present. I am Dr. Priyanka, and I'll be presenting the paper on behalf of my co-authors. And the title of the paper is Bridging Traditions with Modernity, the Relevance of Bharatiya Model of Leadership, Sarathi in Business and Technology. Like what this word Sarathi is, we have incorporated it from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna has told Arjuna to, deal with the battlefield and go ahead with everything what he'll tell him. So it is what concept we have tried to come up with is we have this most ancient concept of leadership with us, and now we are going along with the modern concepts, leaving it behind. But this concept is today in itself also a one and all whole concept which can or which will replace the modern concepts if we'll go through or if we'll adopt this concept properly. Now, what this Sarathi is, it is a Bharatiya model, first of all, and we are proud of it that we are having something on our own. It is what Lord Krishna has told to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And we are treating or we are considering it as inspiring and empowering, because at every stage of our life and at every stage of our workplace, this model, if we'll adopt, if we'll incorporate in our lives, so it will inspire us and it will empower us also to go through or to fight any battle that we are facing in the terms of stress, depression, or work pressure, or loneliness, we'll say, in the workplace. And if we'll have a leader who is having this Sarathi qualities within himself or herself, then he will for sure will lead his team in a better way, and that will take everything in a good pace to go ahead. This model illustrates the management wisdom from Bhagavad Gita for today's leaders and managers. And in present contemporary scenarios, the leaders and managers are required to become Sarathi for their organization. This Sarathi is basically S is strategist, A is active listener, R is resilient, A is agile, T is a team player, and H or I stands for that a person or a leader should have humility and integrity in himself. Then only he'll be able to guide his team or her team in a way that they all together as a team will go ahead and achieve the goal or the result that is desired. For strategist, a leader has, it is strategist leader design organizational structures, and he allot resources and manifest strategic vision. Active listener leader listens to people with great attention and sincerity. For resilient, it is leaders are able to survive their spirit under pressure to cope with detrimental changes and adapt. Agile means the leader will inspire others to grow along with them. And as a team player, he should provide clear, understandable goals, tasks, and other organizational expectations to the team. And he being having humility and integrity, he should have the courage to admit when he doesn't know anything, and he should be open to learn from others. And as integrity part, a leader inspires with his principles without compromising. And this is if a person has all this. In fact, we all in our normal life also, if we'll go through, if we'll adopt these qualities, then we will become a leader in one way or the other in our normal lives as well. And this is the concept that we have, like I said earlier, we have derived from the Bhagavad Gita, and it will every time or in every way will help all those who will inculcate in their lifestyle this model or this concept. Now, who is a Sarathi? Sarathi is a charioteer and advisor to the Arjuna, who the Krishna, Lord Krishna was there. He is expertise in chariot driving. As we say that preach what you practice. So first is the Sarathi is renowned for his skill in driving a chariot. He can navigate through difficult terrain, including battlefields, with ease. And he being loyal, he like Sarathi was fiercely loyal to Arjuna and is willingly to do whatever it takes to help him achieve his goals. And in wisdom, Sarathi is not only an expert in chariot driving, but also a wise and knowledgeable advisor. He can offer Arjuna with the guidance and support in matters beyond the battlefield. So this was all about my paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. Ma'am,
Yeah.
Richa ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Priyanka.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Any questions from the audience here?
Any questions from the audience? Okay, well, Aparna wants to know what was the research objective. Dr.
And
Priyanka,
yeah,
Aparna Gaur ma'am wants to know what
it is, we have
was
not done any
the
research, but
research
we have come with the objective that it is, we ourselves have our own native, our own national, our
Hello?
own Hindu concept of leadership, and we now we are diverting, we are deviating towards the modern concepts of leadership. But if we'll stick to this basic concept of leadership, then we'll prove to be a good leader in all the ways. This is the objective that we have come with this concept, and we think that this concept, if chosen practically or adopted practically by all the persons who are in the corporate world or in the political world itself, then the world or the India will move to the new direction with this leadership.
Yes, any other question from the audience?
Leadership. She has given a notion, an Indian notion to the theory of leadership, and this is what I think that Dr. Priyanka wanted to convey.
Exactly, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Richa ma'am.
Yeah, Dr. Priyanka, your paper very well aligns with the theme of our conference.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So how do you plan to extend your research? Because as I can see, this paper is at this particular level is just a conceptual analysis where you have tried to link the concept of Sarathi from Gita to leadership, right? So how do you plan to extend your work in future?
It is now we are planning this is the very initial stage of our concept that we came up with. Now we are planning to evaluate the leaders that we already have in our corporate world to find out what all qualities of Sarathi they have with themselves. And and eventually or gradually we'll come up with the concept that what I'm trying to say is everyone is having one or all the qualities of this Sarathi concept only, and it is not we are aligned to the modern concepts of leadership like authoritative, participative, or all the types of leadership. It is they are having this somewhere hidden in them, or it's somewhere it is quite quite visible that they are having this. Once we'll go through the nature or the leadership qualities of the corporate of the renowned corporate leaders that we have today, so eventually and gradually we will prove that this is the base, or this is the role where all are standing and all are playing their performances.
So you must be aware of some of the contemporary leadership models such as resilient leadership or authentic leadership, as you talked about the components of integrity, resilience and all.
Yes, ma'am.
So clearly one can see an overlap between the model that you have proposed and some of the current models of leadership.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you plan to establish the discriminant validity of this particular model over all the existing models, because it borrows the components from some or the other theory of leadership?
No, like you are saying, it is borrowing the components of the contemporary leadership styles. But what we as the team are trying to say, it is these contemporary styles have been borrowed from this model or from this concept of Gita.
Okay, okay. Thank you. All the best for your research.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Priyanka. And in fact, Sarathi has become a synonym for a good leader. Yeah. So it's not a driver anymore of the chariot, rather it's a leader who shows direction. Exactly. So all the best, as ma'am has said, please continue with your research. Obviously, ma'am's insight will help you, because she has says, please go for the discriminant analysis. That will surely help your research.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all.
So, ma'am, with your permission, let us move to the next presentation.
Yes, please.
The next presentation is of Merki Fekadu and Nidhi Walia. Are the presenters here? Please let me know. Nidhi Walia and Merki Fekadu. Are you both here? Okay, so let us proceed with the next presentation, that is of Doyle Datta. Doyle Datta, I can see you. You are here, so you can unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
The topic, yeah, okay, ma'am. So, and the topic of presentation is empowering the elderly community in India, exploring the role of mobile apps in cultivating self-dependence. So all the best, Doyle ma'am. Please start your presentation.
Doyle, please unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Doyle Datta, please unmute yourself.
Now am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. My topic is empowering elderly community in India, exploring the role of mobile apps in cultivating self-dependence. I am a PhD scholar from Adams University, Kolkata. So basically, as I introduce the topic, I would say that we all have seen that senior citizens have their own problems in our country, and many of them are staying away from family as children are either settled abroad or they are in some other cities because of various reasons. In such a situation, most of the senior citizens face many difficulties to manage their day-to-day affairs, and one more challenge which they are facing regularly is social isolation because of age the health condition is affected, and because of that dynamism is also affected. So moving around and going somewhere and interacting and socializing with their peer groups or family itself is a family. On the other hand, managing day-to-day affected, like facing the essential goods like groceries and everything, and managing the other tasks are also becoming a problem gradually. On the other hand, mobile apps have become an integral part of our regular life. Now, with a click, we can accomplish many big things, which was actually a dream earlier. But the problem is, senior citizens are not yet very techno savvy. They are still far away from this digital revolution. So, my attempt is to find out whether they can come out of the mental apprehension which they're having, that technology is not something which they can use, and which they can get familiar with, and which they can adapt as a part of their life. So can it become a part of their life, and can it address the issues or challenges they're facing in their regular life? As far as literature review is concerned, it was not possible to get many papers as the area itself is very new. Not many senior citizens use mobile apps or technology for that matter. I reviewed 10 papers from all over the world, and only one Indian paper was found. That was from Central University, Orissa. But the papers mainly focused on the usability pattern, like how they are using the apps, and whether they are able to use it with ease, or whether they are facing any problems or challenges in using it, and what are the difficulties they are facing, how that can be adapted. Some people address the technical issues like how mobile apps can be made more user friendly so that senior citizens can use that properly. But mine was a little different take. Mine was an attempt to explore whether it can be a companion for the seniors to address their day-to-day challenges. Here are three objectives. To understand the mobile app using patterns of the senior citizens, to learn about their motivations for using the apps, or to find out whether mobile apps can help to meet their challenges of everyday life. As far as methodology is concerned, it was a qualitative design that was followed. 40 respondents were interviewed, 20 men and 20 women. Out of those 20 women, 20 were housewives and 20 were retired working professionals. They were from the age group of 60 to 75, and a convenience sampling method was used. And the parameter for that convenience was the habit of using mobile app, and the data was codified for final analysis. Here are the findings. I have presented quite briefly because there is a time limit. In my paper, I have given everything in details. exact numbers of the respondents who reacted in what way. WhatsApp has already become an integral part of the lives of the senior citizens, and the motivations which they have given are connectivity and information in the sense they can stay updated, like how their family members are who are settled abroad or geographically far away, and even with their peer groups. And again, another thing is it helps them in many ways. Like there is a senior lady who doesn't know how to operate these gas pipes, so she can easily make a video call and she can learn from her daughter or daughter-in-law or sister for that matter how to operate it. So this kind of things are there. So the main two reasons for using WhatsApp are connectivity and info about peer groups and family, and banking app, which is another type of app which is mostly used by the senior citizens. But the interesting fact is most of the seniors, they are just checking the status, the balance, and the transaction details. They are not into online FD or online transactions or NIFT. They are a little apprehensive about it. They are a little tense, like whether it will be properly managed or properly done. And not everyone out of 40, if I can remember, only 22 use UPI, that too not regularly, only when it is required. And shopping apps like Big Basket is very popular, are regularly used. And there are some who are using Amazon and Myntra. Amazon is mostly popular among men. They are using it for book purchase and that kind of purchases. And women are into Myntra, but that also not very. Only 7 women say they are into Myntra, and out of that 7 women, only 2 were housewives. So they are into Myntra. And yes, there were 3 who said Misho also. And other apps like travel app, they are now depending on travel apps for booking tickets. One more app was popular, which I call hobby-based app. Like there are 2 participants who are using Art of Living app for doing yoga and meditation regularly. There were 11 who are using Karawa, Saregama Karawa for listening to music. So these kind of apps are also gaining popularity, but senior citizens are still not very confident to install the apps themselves. They are depending on others for installation and other things. But yes, they are now adapting. They are now using the apps. So the final conclusion is senior citizens are accepting this new technology gradually. Once they gain familiarity, they can use the apps easily. Mobile apps are full of potentials. They can address the issues faced by the senior citizens. The elderly people, if they become techno-savvy, their quality of living will be much better, and they will not have to depend on anyone for small things. Thank you.
Thank you, Doyle.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions from the audience?
Any questions, audience? None. I have a question, ma'am.
Yes, please
Yes,
go.
ma'am.
So, Dal, when you were going for data collection and
Yes.
you collect, so did you consider the internet connectivity and the city, which tier city you are considering, and how much the digital literacy is there within the senior citizens? And second question, I didn't find any medicine buying app here, like NetMed or Amazon Pharmacy. They were not confident about it. Or what was the reason they were not actually using that?
Yes, ma'am. That is what I said. There is some kind of apprehension. There is a mental blockage. It's not that they cannot do. Of course, digital literacy has its own importance, and they have to be digitally literate. And let me say that very clearly that there were some limitations. The people I interacted with were all urban people and educated people. So definitely they are digitally literate. If I go to some small cities, I'm based in Pune, though it was convenient sampling, people were mainly from Pune, Bombay, and Kolkata. So if I go to some other region, let's say Jamshedpur or Ghatshila or Rourkela, the scenario might be different. I don't know. I'm still yet to explore that.
Okay, thank you. And I think one reason like they are not using this medicine apps is that the complication of using it, because I was once trying and it wanted me to upload the prescription. So for everything, they are not very tech savvy. They cannot upload that, and that was the reason.
Technosavviness is the main reason. And why they are not getting technosavvy is they are believing that we cannot do that. They are not, coming out of their comfort zone.
Yes, being digitally literate and being tech savvy is two different things.
Yes, yes.
Richa ma'am, now the dice is yours. You can ask questions to Doyle. Doyle, the
Yeah, Doyle. So is this part of your PhD work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are the implications of your studies?
There are some social implications. Like I believe that it will help many elderly people who are staying in isolation. I don't know whether isolation is a proper word, but it will help them for betterment of their quality of life. And of course, my PhD topic is mental health of senior citizens. So it will definitely contribute to the mental well-being of them also.
So, so what is, I'm trying to understand, I mean, whatever you just discussed, it's more or less known to everyone. So how do you explain the novelty of your work?
Ma'am, yes, there is some kind of nobility, like whether senior citizens are using mobile app, that how often they are using that itself is a question. Of course, they are now gradually started using, but how often they are using, what are their motivations, and why they are using, why they are not using, both are the questions. Why they are not using? That is another thing, and how can we make them use? That is another thing. So I think this research will contribute how we can make them use. The nobility is the mental health thing, and the nobility is the challenges, addressing the challenges thing.
Uh-huh. So there are a lot of, for example, you talked about self dependence, and so there are a lot of such apps for elderly which cater to their mental health. For example, I don't know if you have heard about the apps like Khayal, and there are many others, right? So these apps are I mean uh, designed specially for the senior citizen, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
keeping their special needs into
Yes, yes.
account, right? So you have simply considered the mobile apps, any mobile apps, whether they are using it or not, right? So as you are
Yes.
saying, you are trying to link it with their mental health. So uh,
With my PhD.
yeah, so for example, you said Mintra, you said WhatsApp. So these are for a connection, or for I mean, Mintra is for buying clothes and etc. Right? So why don't you extend your research to assessing specifically the impact of these apps, mental health apps for senior citizens, and their impact on their mental health, rather than taking a general view of all the different mobile apps and its impact on mental health? Because then your implications will be more specific, and you can come up with some meaningful suggestions in terms of designing of the apps, or the factors that should be considered while designing such apps.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for your suggestion.
Thank you, Doyle.
Thank
Wish
you,
you the
ma'am.
best for your research.
Thank
And
you.
ma'am suggested actually that will make your research more specific and more acceptable. Because whatever you have been saying is a general statement and they are all well understood. It's a common sense, it's a well known notion that they are using it for convenience and just for connectivity. Now let us move to the next presenter, Dr. Chitralekha Kumar Swapna Pradhan. Are you there? Dr. Chitralekha Kumar. So I think you are here, Dr. Chitralekha Kumar, I can see you. Dr. Chitralekha Kumar, I can see you are connected. Please unmute yourself. Is there connectivity issues, Dr. Chitralekha Kumar? So we can proceed with the next presentation, and we will have this presentation in the latter stage. So Dr. Salja Nimaguda and Mr. Durga Harun Lodagala, are you there? Maria Janet and Dr. Anshul Rajawat. Maria Janet, you are there, I can see you. So you can unmute yourself. Maria Janet, please unmute yourself. Shilpa Sharma. Shilpa Sharma is also there.
Yes, ma'am.
Shilpa, yes, please. Shilpa, we will proceed with your presentation. So, rewards and challenges of technology in human resource management activities. This is the topic of Shilpa's presentation, and we'll proceed with Shilpa Sharma's presentation.
Give me a moment. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, absolutely visible.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll not be able to switch on my camera, ma'am, because my laptop is detecting some problem with camera. Is it fine?
Okay, it's
Although
okay.
I shared the presentation.
Yes, Richa ma'am, is it fine if she is not able to switch on the camera?
It's okay. Just make your presentation full screen, please.
Is it fine, ma'am?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shilpa Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of BBA in Xavier's College, Patna. My topic for presentation today is rewards and challenges of using technology in human resource management activities. This is the table of content that I'll be presenting. Aim of my study is to investigate the impacts of technology adoption on various human resource management practices, and the same is to understand the rewards and the challenges which are associated with its implementation, and to provide insights for optimizing the use of technology to enhance human resource management and organizational performance. The following are the objectives of the study, which assesses the impact of technology adoption on specific human resource activities. I have taken those specific activities and then seen how technology works on it. Identifying best practices for leveraging technology to enhance HRM effectiveness, and proposing recommendations for addressing challenges in the use of technology to ensure its effectiveness. A sample size of 40 was collected from across 3 different companies which were using technology in HRM activities, and data used was both qualitative and quantitative in nature, which were interpreted. My first activity, the first human resource management activity that I've taken is recruitment and selection. Before that, I would like to say that gone are those days when human resource management activities were seen merely as something to do as a negotiator of the organization's head for salary negotiation and for maintaining the documentation work. Now, HR is as much responsible for bringing food to the table of the organization as much as the other departments like production and marketing. There are various very crucial activities of human resource management that is taking place in the organizations today, where a lot of technology has improved the efficiency so much, and not just we studied it discretely, but in integrated way as well. My first activity is recruitment and selection. We all know that this is the first and the foremost function which an HR is credited to do with. The filtering of such a large pool of candidates has always been a tedious task for the organizations from times immemorial, ever since the concept of joint stock company has come into being. But recently, the use of technology has reduced the operational problems or the lot of clerical work that HR used to go through for sorting out the applications from various websites. For example, I will quote an example here, which I found in my research, one of the questions, that it's not just the applicants will post their applications on different websites like naukri.com or shine.com, etc. It is also that there are certain apps, just to name a few, it's Prajo HR, Zoho. These apps, they actually work on an integrated medium where the modules are put, and they can make an interface by taking out the applications from all these websites like Shine, Naukri.com, LinkedIn Premium, etc. Otherwise, an HR will have to go to these individual websites and pick up each applications, then sort each application's modules and make an Excel sheet of it. This work has been reduced so much by these kinds of technology. Now, Tech Mahindra has already started using AI in recruitment, I think 10 years back. There are various applicants tracking systems, softwares, AI powered chatbots, which are being used that offer not just an interface, but an integrated interface with the applicants that saves a huge chunk of clerical work that automates the entire process. And it's not just about recruitment and selection. Let me tell you that these technologies, they walk an extra mile because they integrate the other HR activities as well, which I'm going to take in my next slide. Then comes the onboarding. We all know the function of this activity, onboarding, for an organization. This is actually for the first time an employee is forming opinion or framing a perception about the organization. So this has to be very well coordinated, and this has to be very well designed, well shaped in a comprehensive manner, which speaks very well about the communication and culture of the organization without having a person in person doing all this for the organization. The extensive and accelerated use of onboarding technologies in the form of software can make employee very much at ease, irrespective of the location. Now, today we also have the concept of remote working. Thanks to COVID-19, this onboarding thing, the technology in HR has done wonders to the organization and contributed as one of the factors that could put the cost down. And the best thing about these onboarding technologies that is help this is that they convert the entire website into a kind of self-service site where the employees can upload their all the things which are required by the organization, their documents, etc. Now there is also a bar on these websites that unless and until these technologies also allow you in that help the HR, because unless and until you have finished the entire filling of the form, it will not go to the admin of the HR and the appointment letter will not be generated. So this helps the employees, and it also has its own checkpoints. The chat box powered by AI and different software reduces administration chores and are reduced to a great level and help in better collaboration of the employee and the management, which is very, very important, as this is the first time an employee is being introduced to the organization. Then we have the most important part of human resource development. Training and development is a part of it. This is one of the key areas which focuses on making an employee better, develop better, so that he can align his own objectives with the objectives of the organization. Ultimately, which is one of the reasons why an employee chooses to stay longer in the organization. Now, an organization is simply as good as its people. We say that this is a big organization. Now, this big word is contributed to a great extent by not just technology, but the people who are behind the technology. And so it's very important that the people keep learning and evolving. This will also ensure keeping the individual and the organizational goals aligned. Now, there are various learning interfaces in the software. Here, I would like to mention that one of the limitations that those people whom I interviewed said, that for small organization, it becomes a problem of the capacity they have, of how much they can spend on these training and development or the learning interface in the software. Because the big organizations can always collaborate with the websites like Udemy or Simply Learn, for which they pay hefty amount for each module. Now, sometimes this is not affordable by smaller organizations which are using technology, which do it for the free lectures that are there available, and each one knows which role suits which kind of learning program. Using technology in the form of AI especially gives the organization a complete database of the employees, and the activities can be planned according to their needs. Many collaborations by big organizations, as I just mentioned, on various online platforms is revolutionizing this step of technology, because it aids in the development of an employee, which will ultimately contribute to the success of the organization. Now, performance appraisal. Various theories have been proposed which proves that money is an important motivator at work. Now, the effect of an employee that he has on the work of the organization, this must be known to the HR and the organization completely.
I would request you to just focus on the application of technology in various HR activities rather than explaining the HR functions, as we have limited time. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So if I talk about performance appraisal, the technology gives a complete database of the progress of the employee right from the day one when he joins. This is done through a common interface which is available to the employee, and one login is available with the HR people. Now, since day one, the inception, the progress in the graph in well analyzed form, which will help the organization to make informed decision about the employee, which helps in the decision of transfer, promotion, etc. All the strategically important activities that HRs carry in the organization will help. Now,
please, I'm unmuted. Shilpa, please, I'll have to stop you because we have a time limitation. So
okay,
it's already minutes, and the first buzzer went at 8 minutes, but you were in your flow, so I didn't disturb you. But as ma'am has said, if you want, you can just present your findings and you can wind up.
So my findings were that all the other the boons are obviously outweighing the limitations, but some of the limitations that I found was that one, it is about the capacity of the organization. These technologies come at a lot of cost, and second, training the entire organization on using the capacity can come with some amount of resistance. And three, the cost of implementation of these technology going completely online can also incur cost on the various support systems that we have regarding these technologies. Then the privacy and security of data is always vulnerable, but with technology will be always there in the landscape. There is no gainsaying this factor, and therefore the organization should gradually try to draw more rewards out of technology, which will give them a competitive advantage in the market, and sidewise focusing on the limitations that they offer, trying to mitigate the impact of it. Thank you.
Shilpa, can you Shilpa, can you show us your findings slide? Because what's visible to us is the employee engagement slide. Yeah. Okay, so before I start with my questions, so I'll invite the audience to first ask the questions. Are there any questions from the audience?
Any questions from the audience? None. So audience are not asking any questions. So ma'am, you can proceed with your question.
Yes. So Shilpa, you said you conducted 40 interviews.
Yes, ma'am.
So these interviews were done with the HR people?
Not just the HR people, ma'am.
Mhm.
These were done with the HR people and also some of the employees on whom the data was, who were using this interface.
So these people were from 40 different companies, or can you explain the distribution?
No. 40 sample size from 3 different companies.
From 3 different companies. Okay, so what was the nature of these companies, if you can explain?
One is the consultancy company. One is the Husk Power, which is located in Patna. The other one is Jindal Steels. And the third one was Infosys, since I had my people there, so I could collect data easily.
Mhm. So do you see industry level differences in the technology adoption in the HR function?
They do, ma'am. They do. For example, I can tell you that so I'll name some of the things like Great HR, like Prajo, like Zoho. These are the applications which are there, which comes at a huge cost, but the organizations are using it to make it completely integrated and to have a integrated interface with the people, with the employees as well. Right from the first time when they are drawing the applications from various sites like naukri.com, shine.com, or for that matter, if an employer is taking the CV from LinkedIn, earlier what happened, they would draw CV individually from these sites, make a data, and had to make it on Excel sheet, drawing
So,
please,
have you
various
understood
modules.
my question?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I think you have not understood the ma'am's question. She is talking about the technical difference. Does it has any effect?
So my question is, are there industry level differences in adoption of technology in HR?
Industry level differences, as in, ma'am? The scale, are you asking about the magnitude or the scale of the
No,
technology
I am
being used?
asking, are certain industries using more technology as compared to others?
Yes, ma'am. The consultancy, the manpower, which has to manage a lot. The core, in fact, I will say that more the service sector is using more HR technologies than the product sector.
So as compared to manufacturing, you are saying service sector is making use of technology in HR more.
More.
Okay, so if this is the case, because as you have yourself accepted that there are industry level differences, so how did you go ahead with your choice of companies for your research? Why did you choose
I
only these
wanted
three
to have,
companies?
yes, ma'am. I wanted to have acquaintances from whom I could conveniently collect data. So that is why I went for these. Oh, everywhere I have people who could get me interview. I could arrange that interview, or I could get them fill the questionnaires.
Yeah, but convenience will not fetch you the reliable findings, right? So you should go out of your comfort zone and try to sample the participants from many different industrial backgrounds so that you can get a more holistic picture of technology adoption in different sectors of economy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So are you a PhD student?
No, not yet. I have not enrolled in PhD yet.
Okay, okay. So is there a plan to extend your research?
Hopefully, yes, ma'am. I'm planning to get enrolled the next year.
Yeah, so because this was just a qualitative analysis of 40 interviews, I would suggest you go ahead with the quantitative survey as well as rather than generally talking about usage of technology, you can explore how specifically AI or machine learning has been integrated into HR function, as these are the hot topics these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your suggestions.
Okay. Thank you. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Shilpa, that was a great presentation. Still, you are not into research, but you tried your best. And I think ma'am's insight will help you to get into enroll into a good PhD program. So plan for it and get yourself enrolled because you have such in talent acquisition. So ma'am is physically
Morning, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, please go ahead.
Mute. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, each one of you present over here. Today, I'm going to present my paper, the topic of which is revolutionizing HR. I would like to explore the impact of AI in talent acquisition part. We have just heard a research paper which explored the invent of technology in HRM functions, but the person talked about each and every area of HR function. This particular paper is just focusing on talent acquisition, that is starting from the job description part or recruitment part and moving on to the succession planning. So we all are very well aware, we have already learned a lot about, just wait a minute. Okay, so this is the introduction of topic. We have learned a lot about AI in previous papers which are being discussed over here. We already know the different functional areas of HR also. And by this particular paper, it's based upon secondary sources of information. So it just talks about the companies which are actually using the AI in talent acquisition part. And all of us are quite familiar with the traditional role of HRM, especially the talent acquisition area. Artificial intelligence can greatly influence this particular area by providing a lot amount of efficiency as well as effectiveness with certain amount of benefits which are just mentioned over here. And it includes improved quality of candidate selection as well as increased accuracy. AI can do this particular benefit because it can very effectively contain a large amount of massive amount of data in a split of a second, and an HR manager can gain an insight as well as an expertise and the talent pool that is available at their end. It can analyze with the help of certain keywords and interpret resumes, the cover letters, etc., to extract relevant information that is beneficial to the HR department. The primary purpose, the next slide. Okay, the primary purpose of this particular paper, because it is based upon secondary source of information, is just to explore, it's an exploratory paper, to explore the impact of artificial intelligence on talent acquisition part by analyzing the information that is available from different secondary sources like different publications, different blogs of various companies which are actually using talent acquisition and AI together in a global scenario. Next slide. So I've done a literature review and few of the literature reviews mentioned over here. For example, in 2018, Burson did a research and found that the usage of AI in resume screening as well as matching with the help of keywords, which are available in our job description, it is used extensively in that particular area. Similarly, a study from SHRM in 2019 highlighted the role of AI in making fair and objective assessment of candidates, that is, bias-free assessment of candidates. AI may improve applicant experience also, that is not only helping HR managers AI can help the candidates also. They can have a better experience also whenever they are giving an interview for an organization. And this was done through a research by Deloitte in 2020. So AI and talent acquisition both can be combined together. Earlier, the common perception of AI was that it is a robot-driven or a chatbot-driven type of a technology-enabled platform. But in modern times, AI as well as ML has expanded well beyond by using predictive modeling and automating repetitive activities that are prevalent in HRM functional area. So more robust systems other than ATS, which is a part of HRIS, more robust systems came into existence like talent acquisition systems, TAS, and we also have TRM, talent relationship management system, on the lines of customer relationship management systems. These are certain examples across the globe. So as I mentioned earlier, I analyzed certain companies which have already implemented AI in talent acquisition part and how it all, I just wanted to explore how it all started. So these are the examples of certain companies. For example, Unilever in 2017 used AI only to assess the entry-level workers in their organization. Similarly, Vodafone in their London-based organization used video interviews for shortlisting candidates. AI has been used by another organization with the name Intuit, which is a software organization for narrow down the talent pool that is using data mining concepts. Similarly, another company used machine learning, that is ML technologies, to have a large database so that they can have the best talent recruited in their organization for the possible applicants. So all the companies which are mentioned over here have been using AI from various years, from the past 5 to 10 years, and they are using it in talent acquisition part. So although it has its own disadvantages like data security or some other similar disadvantages or limitations, but the potential which AI is having in talent acquisition area is tremendous. So if the HR executive and talent acquisition executive work along with the AI counterparts, they can use this particular area in future so for their competitive advantage. So that's all. So this is the conclusion part. So whenever we are formulating a plan for talent acquisition, if both the HR, TA as well as AI personnel contribute together for the talent acquisition, they can work for the wonders of the organization. Any questions?
Thank you, Aparna ma'am. Ma'am, Aparna ma'am is here, so you can ask questions.
Yes, first I invite questions from the audience, if there are any.
Any questions, audience?
So audience seems to be very passive.
They don't want to bother the presenters. They are in anxiety because they have already known that you are among the 2% in the top researchers. So the presenters are in anxiety.
So what? But we learn from each other, and you need to be always curious to learn more. So at least I expect some questions from the audience.
One question is coming. But please, I can repeat that question. Please come. So we have a question from Ritesh Ravi sir. And he, please sir.
Actually, I have one observation that as per the hallmarks of research, okay, there should be at least theoretical and methodological rigor. So that methodological rigor was missing in that presentation. So that should be followed. So then we can get some better output.
Sure, sir. Next time I'll keep it in mind.
So that's not only with this paper. So far in all the papers that have been presented, so I could find this particular problem with all the papers. So they need to be more scientific when it comes to, adopting right methodology. And as Sir rightly said, we need to focus on theoretical and methodological rigor to be able to come up with more valid and reliable findings. Anyways, So my question to you, Aparna, is, uh, so you just used secondary data to see how artificial intelligence has been used by companies in the talent acquisition functions, right?
Right, ma'am.
Yeah, so this is just the first step in the
Yeah.
research process, as you rightly said, this research as exploratory, but it's important that you extend it further and try to assess the actual impact of use of AI technology on the effectiveness of talent acquisition using different quantitative as well as qualitative methods.
Right, ma'am. It's basically an Indian scenario or Indian context too.
Yes, yes, yes. So are you doing PhD?
No, ma'am, not yet started.
Mhm. Okay. So for this level, this is fine, but if you are interested in research, you can extend your work in future. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aparna ma'am. Thank you for your presentation. And ma'am, in HR, there is always a problem that HRM people are frightened of analysis. I've seen in most of the papers, they go for descriptive, exploratory, but they don't try to move into the depth of research methodology or just going to the regression or anything. They're just frightened of that. And that fright has actually stopped them from giving good papers in good journals. Although the conceptualization is always good, they're always thinking something novel, something novice, but actually they're not able to convert it just because of the rigor is missing.
Yeah, it's not only about quantitative, adopting quantitative methods, if they are more comfortable with qualitative. So there also we have a lot of objective tools available that can remove subjectivity from simply, analyzing the secondary data or just subjectively interpreting the interviews that you conduct.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you cannot separate HR from statistics. So it's important, if you really want to publish in good journals, you have to have good command over.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And even the qualitative part, generally, we are not much aware, and the research community, in fact, they are not much aware about the tools and the ways how to conduct this kind of research. So we can next time have a workshop on. Yes, and we will invite you.
It's really important for research scholars, especially, to have a thorough command on various research methodology tools. So it's important that MIT organizes such workshops on regular basis for them.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and we'll surely look forward to this important observation from this international conference. So the next presenter is Rashika Tabassum. Rashika Tabassum. Yes, I can see. Dr. Rashika,
My voice is, I hope, is audible.
yes, you're quite audible. So you can carry forward with your presentation.
Okay, sure,
And the
ma'am.
topic of presentation is mental health important for work-life balance? A study among Indian working women.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I have to share my presentation. So I'm Dr. Rashika Tabassum, and currently I'm working as an assistant professor at GL Bajaj Institute of Management. One second, I have to shift my window, please. Currently, I'm working as assistant professor at GL Bajaj Institute of Management, Greater Noida, and I had completed my PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia. It is a Central University in New Delhi. And today I'm going to present my topic is mental health important for work-life balance? A study among Indian working women. So first of all, I would like to introduce the topic, the variables, that is the work-life balance and the mental health.
Dr. Rashika, make it full screen, your presentation.
Okay. I hope it is now visible more.
It's quite fine now. Please carry forward.
So for, my variables are work-life balance and mental health. So first of all, I would like to describe these two variables. The term work-life balance has been defined by various authors, but there is no consistent definition in the literature. So, but I had followed the definition given by Greenhouse, which is the work-life balance is the extent to which an individual is engaged in and equally satisfied with his or her workload and family role. The second variable is the mental health. The very well-known definition of the mental health is given by the World Health Organization. A state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope up with the normal stresses of life, and can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. The objectives of this study is to study the relationship between work-life balance and mental health among working women, and also to study the impact of mental health on work-life balance among the working women. So there are two hypotheses that are based on the objective. So first of all, there would be a significant relationship between work-life balance and mental health among working women. And second, there would be a significant impact of mental health on work-life balance among the working women. So method is, the research is quantitative and descriptive research design is being used. The participants are the working women working in the public and private firms of Delhi NCR. The procedure followed is simply the online Google form link is sent to the participants, and the data is being collected. And after that, the tools like SPS is being used for the further analysis. The variables are the dependent or the criterion variable is work-life balance, whereas the independent variable or the predictor variable is mental health. First of all, the demographic sheet is being prepared, in which the demographic details such as marital status, age, family type, qualification, etc. is being recorded. And the two instruments is being used for the data collection point of view. The first variable, which is the work-life balance, and for the collection of the data, 15 items Heyman 2005 scale is being used, which consists of 3 constructive: work interference with personal life interference with work, and work personal life enhancement. The total questions are 15, and for the purpose of the purpose that whether the tool is being used reliable, the reliability or the internal consistency is being measured by the alpha value, which is 0.8. According to the George and Mallet 2003, the point greater than 0.5 is acceptable Cronbach alpha value for the tool to be used in the study. The second variable is mental health, and for that particular variable, I had used the shortened version of standardized mental health inventory, which is given by the Wheat and Ware in 1983. This is 18 item self-report questionnaire, and the inventory consists of 18 items in a 6-point Likert scale. Again, the reliability is being used, measured, and which is 0.88, and which is also acceptable according to George and Mallet. So this is the descriptive statistic in which the frequency, the range is being mentioned, which is already mentioned in the table 3.1. So I'm not going to read this table. This is very time taking. And the descriptive status also the mean, standard deviation, and skewness, kurtosis. The skewness and kurtosis values are used for to check the normality of the data, because I'm going to use the Pearson correlation and the regression. So this is very important to check the normality or that whether the data is normally distributed or not. So normality is being checked by the Kolmogorov-Shapiro-Wilk test, which is the data represented in table 3.3. The values are greater than 0.05, which is insignificant. That is, the test shows that the values are greater than 0.05, which is insignificant. That means the data seems to be normally distributed. The QQ plot is also measured, and also the histogram, which the picture shows that the data is bell-shaped and it is normally distributed. The inferential statistics, so Pearson product Norman correlation is being done to study the relationship between the work-life balance and the mental health, which is the value is 0.59, which is slightly greater than 0.5. We can say that the value of coefficient is 0.59, which is less than 0.01, and that is significant to say that the relationship is strong enough according to Cohen 1992 study. Again, there are certain assumptions that needs to be fulfilled while applying the regression analysis. The assumption of linearity is being validated by drawing a scatter plot between the work-life balance and the mental health. The straight line shows that the variables are linearly correlated. This is actually the assumption of the correlation as well. But in regression also, the line is being mentioned so that we can represent this line as our regression equation line. The assumptions of multicollinearity as well as the autocorrelation homozygosity is also being verified, but multicollinearity is not applicable in this scenario because there is one independent variable and there is no chances of having the relationship between the independent variable, but still the VIF value is being measured, and which is above 0.1 as per the information per the literature, and no correlation among the independent variable. However, in this case, there is one independent variable, so this cannot be required to check the multicollinearity. The assumption of autocorrelation, which says that error terms are not correlated for any two observation, which is tested by the Durbin-Watson test, and in this case, the value is 1.90, which shows that there is no autocorrelation, and also the homozygosity is also measured. And in the picture, the homozygosity actually measured by the by drawing the scatter plot between the regression standard residual and regression standard predicted value, and which shows there is no pattern. The values are evenly distributed, and there is no U-shaped or V-shaped pattern is being followed. The finding shows that correlation was found between the two variables, that is the mental health and the work-life balance, because the value is 0.591, which is good enough to mention that hypothesis 1 is accepted. Since the correlation coefficient is 0.59, indicated there is a large and positive correlation according to Cohen. And we can also say that the R square value is 0.349. That means the model explains 34.9% of the variance in work-life balance due to mental health. These are the results of the regression analysis, which shows that the mental health is significantly predict work-life balance, as the equation is 33.52 plus 0.282 into mental health, that which indicated that if mental health would be enhanced by 1 unit, our model predict that there will be 0.282 or 28.2% of the work-life balance among the working women. The discussion holds that whether the findings, whether available findings supported by the literature, the finding shows that there is a positive relationship between work-life balance and mental health, which is also supported and corroborated by the past researchers like Manisha, Brownie, Dryres, and Pitt and al. The second of the hypothesis shows that mental health has been discovered to predict work-life balance among working women. In simple word, we can say that by improving the mental health, the employee will be able to balance their work and family life more easily. We can conclude here that in the field of human resources management, making mental health as a component of influencing work-life balance of women employees, and also as recognized by Sao et al. 2022, there is a need to focus by the employees to the effort to take care of the mental health and psychological well-being of their employees. And lastly, according to the Brownie and Dryres, the relationship between work-life balance and health was stronger in 2013 than it was in 2003. This suggests that each decade passes, the relationship between work-life balance and health still tends to be stronger. Hence, it's the high time for the companies to protect the mental health of their employees. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rashika. In fact, after the presentation, we saw some statistics and some analysis in your paper.
Thank you,
Over to you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Rashika, for your presentation. Any questions from the audience?
Yes, any questions, audience?
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
You're
I'm Dr. Chitra Lekha. This is actually not a question, but I just want to, ask the presenter, when we normally take correlation to be very stronger, it has to be something more than 0.5, maybe 0.789 nearing towards 1. So I don't know how you say it is a strong correlation and then accept or reject a null hypothesis on that
Yes,
basis.
ma'am. Actually, yes, ma'am. Actually, I have this question is being arise in my PhD presentation as well, because 0.5, the study of Cohen 1992 is actually given the bracket that whether the relationship is greater than 0.1, it is weak relationship, and if it is greater than 0.3, it is medium relationship, and 0.5 is greater strong relationship according to the study of Cohen 1992. I had seen that my research fellows also mentioned the name of Cohen, only the name of the Cohen. I have seen in so many PhD theses that the Cohen being is mentioned, but the same question is already raised by my PhD presentation, that most of the people, they don't mention that whether the relationship is strong or medium or weak, but I had mentioned, and that's why I request ma'am also that whether I'm on the right track or not.
Yes, so as you're talking of Cohen talks about the effect size.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So, of course, Dr. Chitralekha's question is valid, that your correlation values were around 0.3, right? So you cannot call it very strong correlation. It is low correlation, low to moderate correlation.
0.59 value is 0.59.
0.59. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you can call it a moderate correlation, not a strong one, because strong one goes above 0.7. Right?
Okay.
And when it comes to citing Cohen, I would request you to go to Cohen's papers first and understand the concept of effect size.
Yes, ma'am. Even in my PhD thesis, I had done the independent t-test and also mentioned the effect size. This is also.
Yeah, and you cannot comment on the strength of correlation unless there is a reference value that you can compare it with. So you need to check how has been the strength of this relationship in the past studies from different countries. Then only you will be in a position to actually comment whether it is weak, strong. Otherwise, in isolation, you cannot say whether it is weak, strong, or moderate, right? So you need, it has to be a relative value. Yeah. Any other question from the participants?
I just wanted to know from Rashika that she was talking about 6-point Likert scale. I had no idea because I've heard about 5-point, 7-point.
Exactly, ma'am. Actually, it is the already standard tool, so I cannot change the scale number. Means the Likert cannot be changed to 5 because already standard tool which is already given by Wheaton-Ware. So I have to have used. Yes, you are right. There are the Likert scale is being 5, 7, 9. But
6 also not an issue. My question to you is, how do we decide the number of anchors in a scale, whether we should go for 5, 6, or 7, right? So how do we take that decision? There must be some underlying logic, right? We cannot randomly go for a 3-point scale, 5-point, or 7-point, or 9-point, right? Some researchers make use of 3 points, some 5, but there is an underlying rationale. So are you aware of it?
No, ma'am, I don't think I know this, because in my research also I had used the standard scale, so I have not gone through it.
Yeah, using a standard scale is okay because somebody proposed it, so you are following the same. Yes. But being a student of research, you should be able to understand these basic concepts.
Maybe on the basis of the objective, or maybe on the basis of the items that we are.
No. So it depends upon the ability of the participants to be able to differentiate between the scale points. For example, if we go for a 3-point scale, right? 1, 2, 3, or 0, 1, 2, right? And if we go for a 5-point scale, so 5-point scale, only a person with a knowledge about that particular concept will be able to differentiate 2 from 3 or 3 from 4, right? But if the participants are not at a level where they can actually, I mean, differentiate between 1 to 9, if we go for a 9-point scale, that can be used only in case of experts where they can actually note the minute differences in these scale points, right? But if your audience is not in such a position, then you should think of lower number of anchors in your scale, right? Yeah. Now, my question to you, Rashika, is you have proposed that mental health leads to work-life balance, right? So is there a possibility that work-life balance actually promotes mental health? How did you look for this possibility of reverse relationship between the variables? Because according to me, it is more logical to say that work-life balance will promote mental health rather
Yes,
than
even I have gone through so many literature, and most of the people says that what you have said, my actually research is reverse relationship, but I have seen so many researchers says that the mental health is a dependent variable, and when the person is not able to balance their work life, they disturb their mental health. But as per the results of the over 60-70 participants, the relationship, the results shows this can be done. And just to add the newness in the research, maybe I had tried ki mental health is an independent variable and the work-life balance is a dependent variable, or we can say in simple words that if the person's mental health is better enough, they can easily able to balance their work life.
So just on the basis of what the statistical software has produced, right? You entered some data and
No, ma'am.
with certain results. What you can do is, if you input work-life balance as independent variable and mental health as dependent variable, then also software will give you some
Yes.
results, right?
And there are lots of research are available on this.
So that's what I'm saying. As a researcher, it's important that you check for this reverse causality, right? How can you do that? How can you do that? Any ideas?
In SPSS, I had done simply the dependent variable is work-life balance and the independent variable is mental.
I'm telling you, if you do the opposite, then also you will get
Some result.
Same result. Same result.
Maybe higher, because research supports the relationship that is in which the mental health is.
Okay, you explain me the theoretical rationale behind your argument that mental health will lead to work-life balance. How do you say that?
It's a type of we can say that it's my opinion also, and I would like to see few more participants. I would like to enhance my study that whether the 60 participant, what is actually the result of the 60 participant can be explored to the major audiences. And after that, I could more strong enough that what I am saying, that if the mental health of the people is good, or they are in fact the results of the mental health shows that the greater the value of the mental health mean value, the greater will be the better will be the mental health. But as per the study, it shows that
I understood your point. What I'm trying to say here is, so if you want to establish causality that mental health leads to work-life balance or work-life balance leads to mental health, in that case, you need to conduct longitudinal studies wherein you collect data at different points in time. For example, you collect mental health data today and work-life balance after 6 months, right? So you create a temporal separation between measurement of these variables. Then only you can say that mental health led to work-life balance. And that too after controlling for all other factors that can influence your work-life balance, right? Because work-life balance is dependent on a lot of other factors other than mental health, right? So it's important that you include control variables in your model. So my only suggestions for you is to conduct a longitudinal study and include control variables in your model to be able to arrive at more meaningful findings.
Oh, ma'am, sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you, Rashika. That was indeed a good presentation. And what ma'am has said, as a layman, we all can think that if you are not mentally sound, how can you work? And how can you balance your personal and professional life? So it is, I think the mental health word should be, if you are mentally strong, I think that can be the better substitute for that. Then whether you are able to manage your work-life balance better or not, I think that can also work here. So, but it was a very good presentation from your side, and I can see some more presenters here. So, we can just, if you are available, please let me know. Aparna, Anup, Devika S. Kumar, Gopika S. or Vandana Mahavan. Marwan. Anybody is here? Nidhi,
I have also missed out the presentation, Dr. Chitralekha, if you may allow, I'll try sharing.
Sure. Dr. Chitralekha Kumar and Dr. Swapna Pradhan.
Rashika, please stop sharing your screen so that I can share it.
And the topic for Chitralekha's presentation is the metaverse and opportunities in higher education, a systematic literature review. So, Dr. Rashika, if you could stop sharing. Yeah. Dr. Chitralekha, you can start sharing your screen.
Is my presentation visible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, we can see your presentation. Just make it full screen.
Yeah. So good afternoon to session chair, moderator from CIBMIT, my fellow presenters and listeners. I'm presenting on behalf of Dr. Swapna Pradhan and self, Dr. Chitralekha. And the topic is the metaverse and opportunities in higher education, a systematic literature review. So, ma'am, in my paper also, you're not going to get any analysis, etc., that we were looking forward to. But the topic is such that India as a country or developing countries are yet to experience the prospects of metaverse. So this is based on a systematic literature review. When we talk about metaverse, what we really right now think is about gaming, entertainment, and some kind of virtual experience. But over the years, it has evolved in such a way that it is impacting different domains with its advanced technologies in a very positive manner. So, with this background, the present research is aimed at understanding or examining how metaverse applications can be beneficial in the higher education domain. So this is a glimpse of four literature which I found very relevant, presented on the slide before you, wherein it has been utilized in different countries for teaching mathematics and biology. Then it was very relevant when it came to teaching foreign language. And there are papers that talk about the prospects and challenges about this in the education sector. Also about how it can be utilized for immersive training of the corporate delegates. So the SLR here is based on four stages wherein data has been collected. In the first stage, from I have a list that is 10 Emerald paper, Google Scholar 34, IEEE Explore 16, Science Direct 9, and Springer 11, Sage 8, Taylor and Francis 4, making it to a total of 92, which I can show through this Prisma flow. So after removing duplicate 61 and then the titles, abstracts, where we followed the process of inclusion and exclusion criteria, wherein the paper had to be in English language only, would talk about the application of metaverse in higher education domain. That led to filtering of this entire 92 documents to 32, which were included in this study. So this table, which is represented, I have put 4 papers over here. So all the 32 have been bucketed in this format, wherein the advantages which the paper talked about in that domain have been mentioned, limitations that they highlighted have been bucketed too. Also, the kind of methods that the research papers utilized have also been studied. A synthesis of this gives these 5 prominent areas which were discussed and talked about to be positive, which is saying immersive learning. For example, majorly in the healthcare sector, it was mentioned that simulations can be performed, wherein medical students can actually perform the operations without any risk and see the results, giving them a deeper immersive learning. Remote learning also was very beneficial, wherein the globe becomes one classroom and students can study together or teachers can teach in different geographies. And the national education policy talks about holistic development and collaborative teaching and learning. So metaverse, one prospect is very strong, that is collaborative learning, wherein students and teachers from different ethnicities can come together and learn together, show team spirits and leadership skills while teaching and learning. It also catered to personalized learning and accessible learning, which emphasize that students with hearing impairment, visual disability, etc., can also be included. So it will ward off these barriers. But having said that, countries like India and other developing nations wherein technology is advancing, but infrastructure, time, cost, etc., remains a constraint. So these papers were also screened through to figure out what challenges they have identified. So these are the prominent challenges that emerged. That yes, technical limitations wherein it comes to infrastructure support, internet availability, etc., is still a challenge, and to inculcate softwares, apps, etc., based on metaverse costs on a higher end at present moment. So higher education institutions will need to take care of that. Privacy and security remains a concern, like any other digital platform that we see, because a lot of personalized data is put onto the platform of metaverse. Then we are still at that digital literacy skill is not up to the mark. We are progressing, but that will still be a challenge. And ethical and legal aspects, like cryptocurrency, bitcoins, etc., are yet not approved in our country. But the papers that were majorly from European domain mentioned that they have been, purchasing tools, equipments as an object in the form of avatar and augmented reality environments. So for a country like ours, we will have some ethical and legal aspects to be checked into before metaverse can be applied to higher education system. Similarly, it will have social and cultural implications too, because we are a diverse set of people with different culture and religion and background. With this, I conclude my systematic literature review that metaverse is promising in the area of higher education sector with the 3-4 pointers which have come out by the synthesis of this review. However, the policy makers and the higher education people need to think about the constraints also that are highlighted before we implement this into our system. So, thank you for listening, ma'am, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Chitralekha. Richa, ma'am.
Yes, let's invite questions from the participants first.
Yes, please. Questions, participants. Those who are online, you can also have your questions. Anyone, any questions?
Okay, so if there are no questions, so Chitralekha, so what databases did you consider for your SLR?
Science Scopus, Google Scholar, and Web of Science.
Okay, Scopus. So you said there were 92 papers that you got, right?
Yes.
So, and when you were describing about inclusion and exclusion criteria, you just talked about whether the paper is in English. What were the other inclusion criteria?
So there were metaverse papers, but they did not talk about higher education, etc. They have been talking about elementary education. So those papers were excluded.
Okay.
And the ones that did not bring out the advantages or challenges, but have described some cases, etc., were excluded because the agenda was to include the advantages or challenges brought about. And the last one was that this research was conducted between the papers that were catered from 2019 to July 2023. After that, we have not added fresh paper to it. So that was one of the inclusion and exclusion criteria.
So why 19? Why not papers before that?
Actually, we started working on this from August, 2023. So post that we have not added.
Yeah. So why do you think there was a need for systematic literature review in the field of metaverse, which is very, research on which is very nascent in nature, right? So systematic review is conducted for those fields which are mature enough where we feel there is a need for review. So what is the number of papers that you had considered, final number of papers for the review?
32.
32. So I don't think 32 is a good enough critical mass for you to go ahead with the systematic literature review.
So when we started this research and we're progressing on it, this was one of the pointers that we definitely took into account. But this is a very nascent field, as you rightly said. But the economies like our country, wherein we are seeing that we can explore the prospects, we can see whether it will be feasible down the line, let's say 10 years or 20 years. So if you say as SLR, yes, the numbers are lesser because we see that normally they have included multiple, 200 plus papers, etc. But looking at its importance in the higher education system right now, we thought to go ahead and figure out these pointers, let's say advantages and disadvantages, which we would further like to build upon. Maybe by doing qualitative, wherein one-on-one we can take interviews, etc. That's our future research agenda.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about from the publication point of view. You'll not be able to publish this SLR. This can act as a review for your further extension of work, where, as you said, you would like to go ahead with interviews, right? So this literature review can be part of that paper. But if you want to publish a SLR on its own, then I don't think reviewers will be convinced with the number of papers that you considered.
So that's a very valuable input from your side, which I would like to, incorporate and build it on with a qualitative study combined and then release it in the form of a publishable paper. So, thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, and this is the aim of this slide. So may I know who have missed their presentations? Are they here to present? Nidhi Walia, Mikeri Fakadu. Anyone from you is here to present your paper?
So I can see Maria Janet. So Maria, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, Maria Janet, would you be presenting your paper because we can hear you connected? We can see here.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Maria. So are you ready to present your paper?
Hello, Maria. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Actually,
audible to...
Hello?
Yeah.
Ma'am, kindly 5 minutes. I couldn't. I am not able to connect it.
Okay, take your time. Till then, is Salja Nima Guttigat? Harun is there? Or Salja Nima Gata? Aparna, Anup, Devika S. Kumar, Gopika S. or Vandana Madhavan. Anybody here? So we can...
So this is the last presentation, Dr. Manisha, right? By Maria.
Yes, ma'am, because I think other people are not here.
Yeah. So Maria, if you can please share your presentation.
Yes, it's quite visible.
I'm here to present my paper on the role of HRM in fostering work-life balance strategies for employees. My name is Marina Janet. I'm a research scholar in the Department of Management at University in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So my research paper today focuses on the critical role of HRM in fostering work-life balance and promoting employee well-being in the organization. As we are aware that in today's dynamic and competitive business environment, it becomes very important for employees to balance their work life and personal life as well. So this research paper focuses on this particular topic on balancing work life and personal life as well for all the employees and how HRM plays a crucial role in it. So the objectives of the study are to explore various strategies employed by HRM departments to facilitate work-life balance. The second objective is to investigate supportive policies and programs that promote employees' wellness, childcare assistance, and caregiving support. And the third is to find out the impact of HRM on organizational culture, leadership support, and managerial practices on how effective work-life balance initiatives can be. And the last objective would be to provide HRM professionals and organizational leaders with actionable strategies which can be actually implemented in the organization today to cultivate a culture of employee well-being in the workplace. So the research methodology used for this research is qualitative approach. So this study examines how HRM can be helpful for work-life balance of an employee by examining these studies and empirical information and feasibility. So for the study, we have this secondary data. And the goal is to achieve the best strategies of HRM practices for work-life balance and to find key findings through assessment of scholarly books, publications, and reports from very reputable and reliable sources. Furthermore, this also will give us a real which can be used to demonstrate how these strategies can be implemented in the organization. So the various strategies employed by HRM for work-life balance are a few which we have listed here. The first being flexible work arrangements, wherein we provide flexibility for employees to choose their working hours, work from home or working long hours for a few days in a week, and such as all these arrangements. And second is telecommuting and remote work options. So in today, with today's advanced technology, it has become possible for employees so that we can provide them work from home and which helps them balance both personal and professional leaves flexibility. Personal days to allow them to take leave for and personal commitments without sacrificing their job security or the fourth is employee assistance program. These programs help them provide counseling services. And next is wellness and initiatives and fitness programs. So these programs help them teach time management, stress management, etc. And the next would be child care assistance program, wherein especially female employees can subdue on this, where we provide them reduced child care cost or on-site child care facilities to employees so that they can balance both their parenting responsibility and their work as well. The next is caregiver support policies, where employees who are the primary caregiver for their elderly parent. So that they are taken. The next is work-life balance, wherein collaborative tools, time tracking software, and communication platforms are provided to the employees to streamline their workflows and improve efficiency. The next is training and development, where training sessions and workshops on
time management, stress management, and workload and personal commitment balance can be next. There's support policies and programs which can be implemented for promoting employee well-being. The first being health and wellness benefit, wherein we provide them various health insurance coverages for mental health and physical health, fitness classes, etc. The next is mental health support service. Very confidential counseling services can be provided to the employees who are going through mental health crisis or to address stress, anxiety, depression, and other mental health concerns. Next is financial wellness programs, where financial planning resources, retiring plans, seminars, can facilities to employees. The next is flexible spending accounts, pre-tax accounts that allow employees to set aside funds for qualified medical expenses or emergency expenses. Next is work-life balance workshops and seminars can be provided to them so that they can help understand them, the time management and stress reduction techniques, mindfulness, etc. The next is remote work and telecommuting options, which we previously discussed as work from home and remote locations to help them seen and heard and their achievements matter to the organization. The next is the impact of HRM on organizational culture and how effective it is for the work-life balance of the employees. The influence of HRM practices on organizational culture is a major thing as it provides them recruitment techniques, selection, and performance management, etc. are included in this category. The role of leadership support in promoting work-life balance is another thing where the leadership of the organization can support the employees that their well-being also matters. And the third is managing the practices affecting employee well-being and work-life balances, which provides training and support to managers and how they can approach the employees and create an open communication network for them so that they can address the issues which they are facing. The last is employee satisfaction, retention, and productivity outcomes. So it is obvious that if the employee is being seen and heard and understands that their needs also are being heard by the organization. So obviously it makes the organization's retention and employee satisfaction and leads to a positive outcome of the organization. The last is actionable strategies, which can be effectively implemented in the organization, could be implementing comprehensive work-life balance policies, creating a supportive organizational culture, provide leadership training on work-life balance management, and conduct regular assessment surveys, offer personalized support to employees, promoting awareness and utilization of available resources. And the last being fostering collaboration and cross-functional partnerships. So the finding of this paper helps us understand that flexible work arrangements such as telecommuting and providing employees with autonomy and control their work schedules provides an immense effect on their well-being. Also, policies and programs which we have discussed also ensures that employees are aware of their rights and entitlements regarding their work-life balance initiatives. Also, the last employee assistance programs also provides them valuable support, and training and development initiatives also equips employees with necessary skills and tools to effectively manage their workload and prioritize their well-being as well. And to conclude, HRM has a significant impact on how an organization is shaped and how successful work-life balance programs can be. So HRM plays a crucial role in this topic to create a pleasant and long-lasting work environment for people where they can thrive, and a culture that supports employees' well-being and encourages work-life balance, and also gives employees the tools that they need to manage their personal and professional life effectively. So here are the few references which I have listed used for this particular study. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, ma'am.
So before ma'am says that any question for the audience, I will ask any question from the audience. Anyone who are here in online mode, they can also ask the questions. So, ma'am, again, the dais is yours.
This is Rashika. I would like to ask one question.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, Dr. Rashika, please.
You have mentioned the title, whether the impact of, or in the conclusion also you have mentioned the significant impact. So can we use these words before by not applying the stats or by not applying the regression method? Because effect of, impact of, these words are mostly probably used in the when we use the statistical research and we use any statistic in the research. And secondly, one more question is, you have mentioned lots of areas where the HRM practices can be used for a work-life balance, but you have not mentioned actually the citation of which paper is actually saying that these are the practices can be used. Or if you have done the same research in the quantitative way, you can approach. Have you approached any company that these are the practices being followed in the organization? So this is my question actually. So whether it is quantitative or qualitative is slightly not clear.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, I'll just explain that it is a qualitative paper right now. I have spoken to many organizations, and since their point of views were quite different, so I have created a generalized paper, and the data used in this paper is secondary data. So on primary data, I'm still working on that, and I'll be preparing a new paper with the primary data on it. As I have spoken to so many people, I understood that maybe we can create another paper with the primary data, and I'll mention the citations also, the which books and all I have used. So I have put that in the entire paper which I have submitted. So I have not put that in the presentation, right?
Hello.
So,
Hello.
hello.
Yes, Maria.
Hello? Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you, Maria.
Yeah. So the question, according to the question, I'd like to say that this paper is qualitative in nature, ma'am, and descriptive in nature. And I had spoken to officials who have given me a particular work-life balance and the strategies which are being used in the organization. So I have created a generalized paper on this, and that is why I have not mentioned the organizations in which I have been in touch. So I will be
Maria.
working
Hello.
Hello, Maria, can you hear me?
on next paper.
Hello, Maria. Hello. Are we audible, Maria? Maria Janet, are you there? I think she has internet problems.
Yeah. So the main problem in the paper, which I could see, was there was no mention of methodology that she used to arrive at her findings and conclusion. And she mentioned that it's a qualitative paper. So it's not a qualitative paper because no data has been used to arrive at the findings, right? So data can be qualitative or quantitative, but she said that she used secondary data. I mean, that was basically a literature review, and that too a kind of very basic conceptual paper. And as Rashika rightly pointed out, the sources for the claims that she made in the paper were not very clearly cited. So, of course, there were problems with the methodological rigor. There were problems with the way the paper was structured. And this is basically, I would see it as a subjective account of you read 10 papers and then you come up with your own interpretation of those. So to call it a research would be, I would say, we can't call it this type of work as research. So I would suggest Maria to introduce more methodological rigor I mean, she can build on this work and extend it by including qualitative as well as quantitative data to substantiate her claims.
Hope Maria is listening this, because it's a really insightful suggestion from ma'am. So I don't know whether she is able to listen to us or not, but if it is getting recorded, then also you can go through it and you can listen what ma'am has said about it. So you are trying and you keep on trying. And the most important thing for research is the knowledge of statistics and research methodology. So please go to that, just the title, whatever Dr. Rashika has also suggested, that also should be very clear. So ma'am, with this, we are winding up because we have 3 more presenters, but they are not here. So let me have a final call of their names. So Aparna, Anup, Devika S. Kumar, and Gopika S. and Vandana Madhavan. Are anybody from here who will be presenting their paper? None. So Mekeri, Fekadu, and Nidhi Walia. Anyone from you who is there to present the paper? No. Okay, and the next is Dr. Salja Nimagada and Mr. Durga Harun Loda Gala. So with this, we are winding up, ma'am, because we have 3 more presentations, but the presenters are not here. So
we are already over time. We were supposed to wind up at 12:30.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, but before we wind up, I'll just have a small, like your remarks, your insightful remarks will actually make this session even more insightful and more enriched with your insight, so that the researchers can gain. And although they have gained from the remarks that you have given, the suggestions that you have given, but still I'll request a 5-minute or at least 2 minutes if you can give a general remarks to all the presenters.
Okay.
And ma'am, please on that, because I saw just one paper talking about the Bharatiya model, but in HR, we have a lot of scopes, and I think they have not understood the broad concept. So if you could throw some light, some future avenues where they can work and incorporate this model.
Yeah, because, okay. So, so it was a pleasure to session this chair on HRM, and you rightly said only one paper I could see that was clearly in line with the theme of the conference, but it's not the problem with the participants, because I saw that the brochure mainly talks about the role of technology, or it invites the topics wherein the technology has been integrated into the HR functions, right? So those were the areas that were mentioned under the HR track when I went through the brochure. Now, in this particular session, I could see that majority of the papers basically focused on role of technology in HR. So some papers were talking about in general how technology has been integrated into the HR domain. Some specifically talked about artificial intelligence and its impact on some of the HR functions, like there was a paper on talent acquisition. And then there were papers on use of technology for mental health, right? For example, there was one paper on technology for advancing the elderly well-being, and then there was another paper which talked about, which was mainly a literature review that talked about use of technology in the higher education. So there was a mix of papers wherein the participant mainly tried to see how technology in the current times can enhance the HR function in the organization, how it can help people in the different age groups, how it can advance the higher learning outcomes. Apart from that, there were papers on as I could see, there were general papers wherein they didn't talk about technology as such. So there was a paper on mental health and its role in work-life balance. Then there was one paper that talked about the Bharatiya model of leadership based upon the Sarthi concept from Gita. So this was all about this session, and the main problem that I had been highlighting from the beginning is lack of a proper research framework being used in these studies. So some of you are PhD students and some of you have earned your PhD. So my expectations from these sessions were comparatively higher than what I could witness today. So I recommend researchers, because we as a researcher have a responsibility that we do responsible research that can act as a basis or foundation for the future researchers to build upon, right? And that we can do only when we perform our research with sufficient theoretical and methodological rigor. So if your goal is to do a PhD, if your goal is to publish in high quality journals, right, you have to first do a very high quality research, right? If you do quality research, then the outlets will automatically open for you, right? So my recommendation is you go to the top journals in your area, list down the top 10 journals from your domain, whether it is HR, whether it is organizational behavior, right? So there are different indexing systems which rank journals based upon their quality, right? For example, in management, I can say you can follow FT50 list of journals, you can follow ABDC, A star and A category journals, right? Because reading right kind of papers is very important, because that forms a basis and you develop your line of thinking along those lines, right? So eliminate all kind of predatory journals, because nowadays it's very difficult to for early stage researchers to actually differentiate between a quality journal and the predatory journals available in the market. And I'm very surprised to see a lot of such journals are listed in the UGC care list. So Scopus, UGC, these should not only be your criteria, or I mean, this is the minimum level that you can look at, but you should aim higher, right? So start with the top quality journals, read those papers, right, which are in your domain, go through them very thoroughly. Then you will understand the structure of the paper. In most of the presentation here, I could not find a proper structure of a research paper, right? So the way introduction is written, the way literature review is conducted, and how it is presented in the paper, that is very important. So some of the presentations I saw, so they will simply write, this author said this author said that. This is not literature review. Literature review is about going through the papers and then presenting your own analysis, critical analysis of what others have said, right? Critical analysis involves understanding the problems with the existing papers, right? And then present your own account of those papers, right? So it's important that literature review is done in more scientific way, and hypotheses are framed with very sound argument and theoretical foundation. Theory is extremely important. Rarely paper talked about the underlying theory for the various hypotheses that they proposed. So it's not only the statistics or applying quantitative techniques that will help you to publish your papers in good journals. It's important. All good journals, if you see, they will first look for the how strong is your paper theoretically, how meaningful are your arguments, how meaningfully you have framed your hypothesis, building on the past researchers and based upon strong theoretical background, right? So it is important to choose right theories and integrate them well when it comes to framing hypotheses. Then comes methodology, and methodology needs not to be complicated always. It has to be in line with your objectives. Here, most of the papers started with introduction. Rarely any of the papers talked about objectives or research questions very clearly, right? So objectives, research questions should be very clearly identified, because the rest of your research journey will depend upon those. If your objectives are framed correctly based on sound literature review, sound analysis of the gaps in the literature, rest of the journey will be very easy for you, right? So give time in going through literature and framing objectives, right? Rest of the task is, I mean, half, if you do this, this is half done, right? Then comes the analysis part, choosing right tools and all. I know some of you may not be very good at statistics, but understanding research methodology is important. Learning a tool is not that difficult, right? But you should understand why we should use this tool, right? You should understand the right interpretation of those results. As a layman, you should be able to explain those results to a layman person, right? For example, if you're saying Cronbach alpha is this, regression coefficient is this, nobody will understand if you try to speak to a common man, right? So research, you should be able to explain to any layman in its most simplest terms, right? Applying techniques and everything is okay, but interpreting it in such a manner so that it's everybody who is going through your presentation or your research paper is able to make meaning out of it. Then comes the discussion part and your theoretical and practical implications. Some of you have discussed the discussions, discussed your findings in the light of the existing literature, but the theoretical and practical implications were missing from most of the presentations. What contribution? So that is the ultimate purpose of your research, right? What contributions you are making to the theory as well as practice? How are you advancing the existing theories? Or you are simply providing a test of existing theory and testing its validity or providing more evidence for its validity? That has to be clearly stated, right? What value addition you are making to the literature. Otherwise, there is no use of your research, right? So either your paper is making some theoretical advancement or it is having practical implications for different stakeholders that can range from, practitioners in the HR field, as this being an HR session, or it can be other stakeholders from government, NGOs, and the other bodies who are working in your area, right? Unless there is a usefulness of your research for others, right? So that there's no point of doing such kind of research. So try to identify the areas where you can actually make a meaningful contribution in advancing lives, better lives for people, right? So choosing research problem is extremely important part of your research journey. Choose it wisely. Rest of the things will fall into automatically. So, Dr. Manisha, I think I have spoken enough. That's all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And this shows that as a researcher, your feedback was also equally structured. On every aspect, you gave your insights and you said that what this researcher need to do. And I'm very happy that you said that you have high expectations at least. But although we saw the research in a very nascent form, but yes, we need this kind of platform and the resource persons like you who can guide our researcher and our community to do some meaningful and good research. And with a hope that all of us will be involved in some meaningful, good, and next time when we'll meet, we will have some good thing to share with ma'am. So on these big hopes, I am just winding up this session.
Yes,
Thank you.
I shared my email ID. If any one of you wants to get in touch with me, you can contact me on this email ID.
Sure, ma'am. That's enough. I said, as ma'am is helping out all of you, please, if you have any kind of questions, you can reach out to ma'am. Ma'am is there to help you. And we have to help each other. We are hand-holding each other. Then only we can rise. And that is also a Bharatiya model.
Yes.
we go together. So thank you all of you. That was indeed a good session. I will not say very enriching, but yes, it was very entertaining. And ma'am, your insights were really meaningful. Even I learned many things from you. Thank you so much for being with you. So we'll wind up. Thank you. Ma'am, I'll get back to you. We'll just connect with you.
Sure, I'll share this judgment sheet with you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure. And all the other participants, I'll just say that at 3 p.m. we are going to have the valedictory of this international conference. So please join us and be there, because we will be announcing the winners of this international conference. As it's a customary, we have to announce that. But all of you are in a winner in your own way. You have presented, at least you came up with your conceptualization, whatever you have done. So we'll be giving those in the valedictory session. So please join us at 3 p.m. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we'll move towards our next session, and we'll start with the video. We are going to start the video presentation of few of the research papers. So we are stopping the video just for a few seconds, okay, so that we can look into the sound issue. Kindly bear with us.
Greetings of the day, esteemed conference committee, delegates, and distinguished guests. It is with great pleasure and enthusiasm I address you today at 4th International Conference on Contemporary Issues in Business Management and Information Technology, hosted by Amity University, Patna. As a research scholar at Christchurch College, Kanpur, affiliated with CSGM University, Kanpur, under the guidance of Professor Anjali Srivastav, I am honored to present my findings on a topic that lies at the intersection of the technology. The topic is the influence of digital HRM transformation on work-life balance and emotional intelligence of employees. The advent of digital HRM represents a paradigm shift in how organizations manage their human capital, from recruitment and onboarding to performance management and employee engagement. Digital solutions offer unpredicted efficiency and connectivity. Work-life balance, which represents the harmony between obligation in one personal and professional life. In the digital era, the idea of work-life balance is changing. The capacity to recognize, utilize, comprehend, and regulate emotion is known as emotional intelligence, and it has grown in significance in digital workplace. The objective of the study is to examine and synthesize existing literature on impact of digital human resource management, and it can be classified into two parts: to investigate the influence of digital HRM transformation on employees' work-life balance and emotional intelligence, and to contribute to the current literature on HRM practices in digital age. Review of literature. The review of literature has been done under 3 headings for making it more clear and precise. The first one is understanding digital HRM transformation. Second one is work-life balance, a digital HRM perspective, and emotional intelligence in the workplace, a digital shift. The research methodology used in this research paper is on secondary data analysis that entails a methodological approach to collection, synthesis, and analysis of existing literature. A thematic analysis method is applied to synthesize data to find the recurrent themes and patterns in the literature. The findings and discussion of the paper is in this contemporary era of digital transformation in human resource management, work-life balance strategies, and employees' emotional intelligence initiatives have taken a critical importance for success of organization. To effectively improve work-life balance and emotional intelligence, companies must foster a culture that promotes well-being and equips workers with the tools and techniques they need to succeed in digital age. A reassessment of conventional personal management techniques is required when implementing digital HRM practices. Direction for future research to gain a deeper grasp of intricate phenomena. Further studies might investigate other routes also. Comparative studies across diverse organizations and cultures may be useful in understanding the larger implementation of digital HRM. Further research may examine how organizational support promotes emotional intelligence in the digital workplace and a good work-life balance. The conclusion of the study is in the age of digital HRM, emotional intelligence has become a vital competency that helps workers to handle the challenge of remote communication and teamwork. This study will add significant knowledge to expanding the body of literature on digital HRM revolution with implementation for HR practitioners. Thank you. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Amity University, Patna for providing me such a golden opportunity by giving this platform. Thanks a lot.
Good morning, sir or ma'am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Pammi Kumari. I am MCA 4th semester. I have written my research paper under the guidance of Professor Avinav Sahai sir, and today I am going to present of this research paper. My research paper topic is application of machine learning in water resource management. The main purpose of this topic is water is very important for us. If we save water, then water will save our life. Introduction. First we will know what is machine learning and how we use in application to manage water resources. So machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence and computer science that focus on the using data and algorithms. And it also manages the data. Abstract. Abstract means we can say that it is a overview of whole power of our projects or our research paper. I have put in my research paper some keywords. Here I have taken one example of the keywords like predictive analytics. In predictive analytics, we have covered rainfall forecast, demand modeling, and anomaly detection. Rainfall forecast means it is used for historical data and weather forecast and knowing the what is weather, which area which weather is good or not. Demand modeling. Demand modeling, it is totally depend on the population and the level of the water. Anomaly detection. Anomaly detection is clarify what is the color of the water and how it is impure or pure. Literature review. In literature review, we will know about optimizing water infrastructure. Under the water infrastructure, we have know about leak detection, assets management, and energy optimization. Leak detection means we have doubt where water will be leaked. Then we have put our sensor or our pipe or tank that will be save our wastewater. Assets management. Assets management means it is the infrastructure of the water. It totally work on the components and schedules. Energy optimization. If we use email algorithms, then it save our time as well as our energy. Sustainable water management. Under the sustainable water management, we know about underwater groundwater monitoring, water recycling, and ecosystem. Groundwater monitoring means it tell us what is the water level of the water and what how much water we can use. Water recycling means, if we take example, how we recycle of the water. If in our kitchen, if we wash our rice, and that water if we put in any tree, then water save their tree and also clean our rice. Stakeholders engagement. It is a very important in water resource management, every resource management, because stakeholders means citizen science, visualization tools, and decision support. Citizen science means what our citizen allow to make communities and share data. Visualization tools means in email there are lots of visualization tools are available, like scatter plot, histogram, bar chart. This type of visualization we can use and know our water level. Decision support. Decision is very important for everyone. Addressing global water. In this, we know about water security, flood management, and water quality. Flood management means it used for emergency alarm. Water quality means it tell us what is the quality, what is the clean, how much our water is clean. That will be good. That will be good for us or not. Here conclusion. The future of water management. Data driven, automation, and sustainable. Data driven means we can say that machine learning is a power of ML. Automation means it automatically tell us, like a sensor or anything, to for the manages anything. Here the reference I have put in list of key reference cited in the paper. Thank you for giving me attention.
Hello everyone, myself Abhishek Gunjan. I am from CIBMIT University, Patna. In this PPT, I am going to discussing about the research plan proposal on the topic is network security and information technology. So here's the abstract. Network and information security, that is NIS, is vital in safeguarding digital information from cyber threats. Here are some key points about this, that is protection tools, cyber threats, cryptography, human factor, ethical considerations, and global collaboration. These are some key points about this. Here is the introduction, that is, in today's digital era, network security is crucial to protect data and maintain trust. As cyber threats evolve with advancing technology, organizations must invest in robust security measures to safeguard information and ensure resilience. Here is the characteristics of network security and IT, that includes confidentiality and integrity, availability and access control, firewalls and IDPS, and advanced technologies. Here is the literature review, that is includes 3.1 and 3.2. 3.1 is all about the introduction to network security. So network security is a critical component of information technology that focuses on safeguarding the integrity, confidentiality, and availability of data and resources within a network. And security goal is all about the confidentiality and integrity, that includes encryption, access control, and data validation. And last one is digital signature. And the next is availability and access control, that includes redundancy and user authentication. Here is the methodology that includes some steps, that is literature review, case studies analysis, technology analysis, and impact analysis. So these are the methodologies for the network security and information technologies. Here is the basics of network security, that is in the fifth point. So types of threats, security protocols, and security mechanism. In these types of threats, types of threats are malware, phishing, DDoS, insider threats, and the security protocols is SSL, TLS, IPsec, and VPN, and the security mechanism is firewalls, IDS, and antivirus software. Here is the information security in principles, that includes confidentiality, that is encryption, data masking, access control, integrity, data validation, checksums, digital signature, availability, redundancy, backup system, disaster recovery plans. And here is the seventh point, network security technology, that includes firewalls, IDPs, and VPN. And here is the firewalls types of functionalities, including NAT and VPN support. In IDPs, types, detection methods, prevention techniques, and the VPN protocols, benefits, and implementation. Here is the eighth point, that is information security and management. So there are the some points, that is risk management and assessment, and security policies and procedures, and the incident response and management. So these are the points about the information security management. Here is case study that includes some data, that is Yahoo data breach 2013 to 2014, Equifax data breach, that is in 2017, and the WannaCry ransomware attack, that is in the 2017. Here is the 10th point, that is future trends in network and information security, that is AI and ML, zero trust architecture, quantum cryptography. And the 11th point includes latest technologies in network and information security, that is AI and ML, that is advanced threat detection, anomaly detection, automated incident response, and the zero trust architecture, and the quantum cryptography. Here is the conclusion, that is network security is super important for keeping IT systems safe and earning trust from customer. This paper talks about the basics of network security, key principles, and new technologies. It highlights the need for strong measures-based practices and clear policies to tackle cyber threats and keep systems secure. So here is my topic that I delivered through the PPT. So thank you once again.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I am excited to present our research paper titled Addressing AI-based Cyberbullying, Targeting Women and Children. My name is Sonu Kumar, and I am joined by my co-author Suman Kumari and my faculty guide Professor Prasanna, Assistant Professor, Amit University, Patna. Our research develops into the pressing issues of AI-based cyberbullying and its impact on the safety and well-being of women and children in the digital age. We provide a comprehensive review of prevalence, impact, challenges, and mitigation strategy related to this form of cyberbullying. We emphasize the urgent need for proactive intervention and collaborative efforts to address this growing threat effectively. Moving forward to introduction section, AI-based cyberbullying presents unique challenges due to its automatic and often anonymous nature. In our paper, we aim to bridge the gap in understanding by examining the prevalence, impact, challenges, and mitigation strategy specific to AI-driven cyberbullying targeting women and children. Our goal is to equip researcher, policymaker, educator, and other stakeholders with insight needed to develop targeted intervention and support mechanism. The proliferation of AI technology had to lead to more sophisticated and pervasive cyberbullying targeting women and children. However, existing research often lack a comprehensive understanding of phenomena, hindering effect intervention effort. Our paper seeks to address this gap by providing a thorough analysis of AI-based cyberbullying on proposing a practical solution. Our review highlights the prevalence and form of AI-based cyberbullying, including deepfake attack, automated trolling, and AI-generated hate speech. We also explored that profound impact of cyberbullying on victims, encompassing psychological, social, and educational consequences, Additionally, we discuss the challenges in combating AI-based cyberbullying, such as identifying AI-generated content and navigating judicial complexity. This slide provides a reference for the prevalence, impact, and challenges of AI-based cyberbullying, citing the key studies for research finding and the field. We propose several mitigation strategies tailored to combat AI-based cyberbullying effectively. First, technological intervention. AI-powered content moderation and sentiment analysis for the real-time detection and mitigation. Legal framework, extending the legal framework to prosecute cyberbullies and regulate each platform. Educating initiatives, promoting the digital literacy and resilience building among women and children. Collaborative effort, government agencies, tech companies, educators, parents, and advocacy group collaborating to combat cyberbullying. And for the problem solving strategy, we have to address the challenge posed by AI cyberbullying stakeholders and can implement the following strategy. We can enhance the technological capabilities, extending the international cooperation, advocate for update the legal framework, promote digital literacy and resilience building initiatives, foster collaboration between stakeholders, and the last, we conclude this research paper. In the conclusion, AI-based cyberbullying poses the significant risks to safety and well-being of women and children in digital age. By adopting comprehensive solution and fostering collaboration among stakeholders, and we can effectively combat this growing threat and create safer online environment for all. For the reference, we have listed all the cited reference in the research paper. That's all. I am concluding my session. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to all.
Good afternoon. I am Sean Fischel, and today I'm honored to present my research report, a study on longevity risk and annuities, which I've written with the help of my mentor, Nishtharanjan. Many of us dream of living a long and fulfilling life. However, this dream can be threatened by outliving our retirement savings. An increasingly aging population raises concerns about our financial security in our retirement life. So this is known as longevity risk, and that is where, as a solution, we have annuities. Annuities offer a guaranteed income stream throughout your retirement years. And this is by converting a lump sum or a series of payments into a stream of income for life. And this research report focuses on how the increasing life expectancy impacts the break-even point for annuity investments. The objective is to investigate the impact of increasing longevity on the break-even age for annuity purchases in India, utilizing break-even analysis or incorporating hypothetical data. Now, due to the limited availability of publicly accessible data on longevity risk and annuities in the Indian market, this study was done using hypothetical data. And the data generated encompasses a range of values for life expectancy, annual payouts, interest rates, to reflect potential variations in these values. And it is important to acknowledge that the data is hypothetical and the study aims to provide insights into potential impacts rather than definitive conclusions based on real-world market data. Now, the methodology used for this study was break-even analysis. And for that, we need to first gather data, calculate the break-even age, and then analyze its impact. So to calculate the break-even age is known as at what age the initial amount that we paid for the annuities is recouped back. So the number of years till that amount is worth. So to calculate that, we have the formula. Break-even age, the years to break-even is equal to purchase price divided by annual payout multiplied by 1 plus the discount rate, whole raised to negative number of years. Now, this is the R code that was used to generate the hypothetical data. And this is the output we got. So we have life expectancy, discount rate, purchase price, the annual payout, and the corresponding break-even years, corresponding to the different life expectancies. Result of utilizing hypothetical data for annuity payouts revealed a clear relationship between life expectancy and the break-even age for annuity investments in India. So the result we got was, as life expectancy increases, the break-even age also increases. And this can also be found from the graph we got. Conclusion. This research employed break-even analysis utilizing hypothetical data to investigate the relationship between life expectancy and the break-even age for annuity investments in India. Now, from the result, the analysis revealed a clear positive correlation. As life expectancy increases, the break-even age will also increase. Then, with longer lifespans, individuals require a longer period to recoup their initial investment in annuity. So while they continue to receive annuity payouts for an extended duration, the total payout time also stretches, which in fact delays the point at which the cumulative payouts equal the initial investment cost. Fourth conclusion, there exists a potential double-edged sword where it comes to longevity and annuities. On the other hand, individuals living longer than expected, than anticipated, can benefit from receiving a steady income stream for a more extended period in their retirement years. However, the increased break-even age associated with longevity risk poses as a challenge. Individuals who might not recoup their initial investment if their lifespan falls short of the break-even age. So finally, this highlights the importance of considering longevity risk when making retirement planning decisions. Now, these are the references that were used for making this research report. Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. I am Ms. Vasanti Morudkar, Assistant Professor, Nyanprasarak Mandas College and Research Center and Research Scholar, Goa Business School, Goa University. I have prepared this paper along with my guide, Professor Y.B. Reddy, Research Guide, Goa Business School. Topic for my presentation is Factors Influencing Corporate Financial Distress in India. Financial analysis is very crucial for the company as it helps to identify its strengths and weaknesses. One of the prominent ways to analyze the business is financial ratio analysis. Financial distress is a condition in which a company or individual cannot generate revenue or income because it is unable to meet or cannot pay its financial obligations. These are my reviews. Based on my reviews, I have done more than 70 literature surveys, and based on that, my research gap is there are hardly any studies to analyze the determinants of financial distress in Indian context. So based on that, I have framed my objective to examine the factors influencing corporate financial distress in Indian listed firms. The research methodology is period of study is 14 years, 2010 to 23. A sample for the study is 240 companies as per the availability of data from the listed companies listed in Nifty 500. Data source is CMI Probis. Data type is panel data. Econometric techniques used are ordinary least square regression, fixed effects model, and random effects model. Software used for analysis is eViews and Ratel. These are my variables used for the study, wherein my dependent variable is financial distress, which is calculated with the help of Altman Z-score. Any value more than 3 is safe zone, a value between 1.8 and 3 is gray area, and a value less than 1.8 is distress zone. The rest all are my independent variables like current ratio, return on assets, total asset turnover ratio, debt to equity ratio, size of the company, and sales growth. Based on that, these are my hypotheses. There is no significant impact of factors on corporate financial distress of Indian listed firms. These are my empirical results based on the outcome of Altman Z-score. I came to a conclusion that 83 companies are financially sound, 71 are in between sound and distress, and 86 are financially distressed. The summary statistics of the variables talks about the average, median, middle value, maximum and minimum value, standard deviation, how much data deviates from the mean, lower the better. Skewness, all the variables are positively skewed except for sales growth, which is negatively skewed. Kurtosis, all the variables are leptokurtic except for financial distress, which is platykurtic. If we see the results of panel data regression, that is we have run pooled OLS, FEM and REM, but to choose which is the best suited model for the current study, we run F-test for choosing between OLS and FEM. There we reject the null hypothesis and say that FEM is appropriate. Then we run BPG test to choose between OLS and REM. We reject the null hypothesis and we say that REM is appropriate. Then to choose between FEM and REM, we use Hausman test. So we reject the null hypothesis and say that FEM is appropriate. So we go ahead with fixed effect model, which is most suitable for the study. So if we see current ratio, return on assets, total asset turnover ratio, and sales growth has a significant positive impact on financial distress of Indian firm. That means any 1 unit increase in all this variable will lead to the possibility of financial distress in these Indian listed firms. So if we conclude, to conclude, I can say that even if a company is having high current ratio, if it fails to utilize its assets efficiently, it may lead to poor operating performance, further leading to financial distress. And not in all cases, return on assets increases due to increase in operating efficiency. Sometimes it may also be due to excessive leverage. The company is preferring a huge amount of debt. They may inflate their income in the short run, further leading to increase in return on assets. However, as the debt increases, the company's risk also increases as it cannot generate sufficient revenues to meet its debt obligation, in turn leading to financial distress. Also, the company with high total asset turnover ratio may lead to financial distress only due to inadequate profit margins. For instance, a company could have high sales, but all the sales are at loss or very low profit margins. So it may not be possible for a company to carry on its operations for a longer period of time. High sales may also lead to financial distress if they are on credit basis. So the customers fail to make the payment of their invoices, the company will fail to meet its operational expenses, which in turn may affect the firm. So therefore, we reject the null hypothesis and say that there is a significant impact of financial ratios on financial distress of Indian listed firms. The present study also provides some policy implications. The firms should provide training programs to the management and the owners on the financial management. Also, several incentives can be developed for businesses in order to maintain a proper balance between profitability, growth, and risk. These are my references. Thank you.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am Dr. Shweta Katreja. I, along with my colleague Yogita Satish Garwal, want to present on the topic exploring the landscape of AI-driven chatbots in recruitment. So let's get started. So we all know the internet has transformed recruitment, leading to innovations like ATS, application tracking system, and social media platforms for networking. So it has actually changed how companies find new employees. Now they use various tools and social media to connect with the job seekers. And chatbots are like smart helpers that use AI to make HR tasks easier. They talk to candidates online, making communication smoother and faster. And these chatbots can help in the early stages of hiring by sorting their resume and analyzing how candidates behave in the video interviews. This saves a lot of time and helps find the best matches for the job. During video interviews, AI can look at things like candidates' facial expressions, their body language, the kind of words they use, and it figures out how engaged and positive employees are, helping companies pick the right people. AI and chatbots make sure that only the most suitable candidate gets considered, and they help companies understand how well candidates fit the job based on how they act and talk in the interviews. Now, an AI chatbot works like a virtual assistant that can have conversations with the users. How it processes is it gets the information from users first. They start by listening to what the users say or type, and this could be a question or a request or maybe just a statement. After that, understanding the user's input, the chatbot processes it to figure out what the user wants or needs. So it breaks down the text, looks for keywords, and tries to understand the overall meaning. Once the chatbot knows what the user is talking about, it uses context to give a relevant response. For example, if the user asks about booking a flight, the chatbot knows to talk about travel related topics. And finally, it also pays attention to the user's tone and sentiment. It can tell if the user is happy or frustrated or neutral based on the words used and the overall context of the conversation. So finally, based on all this information, the chatbot composes a reply. It could be a simple answer or in the form of a recommendation or even asking more questions to clarify the user's need. So an AI chatbot listens to users, understand what they want, consider the context and sentiment, and then give a suitable reply, all in a conversational and natural way. Then there are 8 T's, which are the framework that evaluates the efficacy of chatbot in the recruitment process based on key attributes. And these attributes help to assess how well chatbots perform in handling various aspects of recruitment. So these T stand for various things like first one is time saving. Chatbots should save time by automating the repetitive tasks like initial candidate screening and scheduling interviews. Then secondly, talent pool expansion. So they should help to expand the talent pool by reaching out a wider range of candidates through different platforms. Third is trend analysis. Chatbots can analyze trends in candidate behavior and preferences, helping recruiters understand the market trends. They should also provide personalized and tailored experiences for candidates, making interactions more engaging and relevant. They should facilitate transparent communication between the recruiters and the candidates throughout the hiring process. They help in tracking and reporting also and provide reports to help recruiters assess the effectiveness of their strategies. Chatbots should integrate seamlessly with the existing recruitment technologies and systems, enhancing efficiency and productivity. Talent analytics. They should use data analytics to provide insights into candidates' performance, potential fit for roles, and areas for improvement. So, by considering all these 8 attributes, organizations can evaluate the impact and effectiveness of chatbots in streamlining the recruitment process and improving overall hiring outcomes. Now we'll discuss about the research gap. Despite the abundance of research dedicated to chatbots in e-recruitment, there remains a notable scarcity of empirical studies examining the intersection of AI and chatbots in the recruitment domain. So in the light of this gap, the present study aims to investigate the influence of 8 key attributes, which are also referred to as 8 T's in the recruitment process. The objectives of this study is to analyze chatbots' role in improving communication between the organization and the candidates, and also to assess the impact of adaptation of chatbots on the e-recruitment process. Now these are the hypotheses. This is a significant that there is a significant relationship between AI chatbot and the 8T attributes, and there is a significant impact of 8T attributes like technology, transition, transparency, FAQ, top tier candidate on chatbot. Now, if we talk about the research design, the current study employs a descriptive and exploratory research methodology incorporating both primary and secondary data collection technology. And primary data was gathered through a structured questionnaire which was distributed to the companies utilizing chatbots for e-recruitment process. The questionnaire utilized a 5-point Likert scale to capture responses ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And prior to full-scale data collection, a pilot study was also conducted to ensure questionnaire reliability, assessed using Cron-Blanc alpha in SPSS 21. Sample size consisted of 20 companies employing chatbot systems for recruitment purposes through convenient sampling methods. Now, the majority of recruitments affirm that chatbots effectively handle manual HR tasks. These are the one of the findings which was made in the study. Chatbots excel in scheduling interviews, ensuring seamless coordination between candidates and interview panels, thereby avoiding overlaps. They streamline operations by addressing frequently asked questions, thus diminishing the repetitive tasks, and chatbots are preferred in the initial stages of the hiring process as they assist in managing high volumes of resumes and engaging with numerous candidates. So all attributes of chatbots, all the 8 T's significantly impact AI chatbot integration. Now, if we discuss the conclusion part, AI chatbots and recruitment tools are not seen as a replacement of human interaction, but as enhancers, allowing recruiters to focus more on building relationships. So, by handling tasks like answering questions and assessing candidate suitability, chatbots help recruiters to engage with candidates for a deeper level, and this technology has revolutionized HR by automating mundane tasks, enabling organizations to stay ahead and reap the benefits, and they enhance candidate experience by providing personalized interactions, ultimately improving the organization's quality. So while this study focuses on AI chatbots in e-recruitment, further research can explore their applications in other functional areas and practices. Thanks.
Good morning, one and all who is going through this video presentation. I'm here to present on the topic Unveil the State of ICT Integration in the Educational System in the Schools of Pune. The research is conducted and written by Pragati Pallavi ma'am being the author and I Sakshi Dee being the co-author. Before getting into the topic, getting into the research methodology, findings, etc., let's understand ICT because our research revolves around ICT. ICT stands for Information Communication Technology. It is a concept which means how can we use information technology based tools and techniques to make the communication process easy, efficient, and impactful. Nowadays, ICT is being used in different fields from home to office to make communication more rapid and impactful, as I mentioned. Since our research is more in the field of school education, so let's understand ICT and education. So ICT tools and techniques makes learning more entertaining, obviously, more engaging and impactful. It helps the student to grasp, to understand the curriculum, the complex ideas very easily. At the same time, it helps the educators to understand that how they can impart their knowledge in a more engaging and impactful way. Nowadays, a lot of the schools and colleges, university, most of the educational institutes use ICT based tools and techniques to make learning more impactful and understandable. The research methodology that we use in this research is qualitative approach, and the semi-structured interview was conducted for the purpose of primary data collection. The research is framed within one of the very famous theory called diffusion of innovation. Let's get into a topic. Let's get into the theory a bit. The theory was proposed by Everett Rogers in 1962, and this theory is widely used in different fields from communication to the marketing to understand the diffusing rate of any new innovation in form of technology, idea, service in the society. So when any innovation comes to the society, different individuals have different way of accepting it and as well as the rate. So based on that, we have the categories called innovators, early adopter, early majority, late majority, and laggards. For this research, conducting this research, the samples that we took were educators, students, administrators, and relevant stakeholders. Let's talk about the finding, the most important part of the research. Now let's talk about the ICT infrastructure, the first finding. We were glad to know that more than 50% of the educators and the teachers, they had the basic understanding of computers and computer-based program that they can use for teaching. At the same time, the 4 schools, the interview was conducted among 4 schools. All these 4 schools were well equipped. They have the smart classes, labs, and internet access as well as. If we get about the next finding, we got to know that even the teachers, they use the ICT based tools and technology for teaching, for sharing study materials with the student. And the teachers as well as the students, they are eager to learn more about the ICT so that they can improve more and can take the utmost benefit of this new innovation. ICT integration on impact on teachers. Most of the teachers said that with the help of ICT, they are able to deliver the content in a more easy and feasible way with the student. As well as school administration mentioned that all the administration work which is quite complex are becoming really very easy with the help of ICT. And the students also said because of ICT, like they feel that this teaching and the learning process is really easy. They are understanding the content with the help of interactive videos and the things, which helps them to sustain the learning, sustain the curriculum in their mind for longer time. So this was basically the research finding that I mentioned. Thank you so much for all your patience throughout this presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Gaurav Prabhat, student of MCA 4th SEM, Amit University, Patna. Along with my batchmate and research partner Kundan Kumar, we will be presenting our research on network and information security in our digital world, where we focusing on key concepts, challenges, and its solutions. Special thanks to our faculty in charge, Anupriya ma'am, for their guidance and support. Now have a look on the topics that we have covered in the research paper. Aspects of security and type of attacks, the practical side of attacks, program that attacks and specific attacks, security services and mechanism, model for network security. Let's move further. Start with the abstract part. This paper explores network and information security in today's digital world. It addresses cyber threats from hackers to data breaches and discusses key security principles like encryption, authentication, and access control. The paper also looks at how emerging technologies such as blockchain and AI are reshaping security. It emphasizes the importance of regulatory compliance, risk management, and proactive measures in dealing with the dynamic threat landscape. The goal is to equip individuals, organizations, and policymakers with the knowledge to effectively navigate network and information security, ensuring robust defense of digital. Now, moving to the introduction part. As I discussed earlier, this paper explores network and information security in our digital world. It covers key concepts, challenges, and solutions, focusing on protecting data and network infrastructure. It delves into fundamental principles, new technologies, and changing threats, aiming to enhance understanding of cybersecurity and stress the need for strong security measures. Now have a look to the aspects of security and types of attacks. Security involves 4 aspects: privacy, authentication, integrity, and non-repudiation, where attack involves majorly 2 types. Attack, a general view, where it can be categorized in 3 ways: criminal attacks, publicity attacks, legal attacks, and the second one, attacks as a technical view. They have two parts, active attack and passive attack. If we explore the practical side of attacks, basically security attacks can happen at the application level or network level. There are so many programs that attack computer system to cause damage or to create confusions like viruses, worms, Trojan horse, and Java applets. Where if you discussing about specific attack, they are of two forms, either packet sniffing or packet spoofing. There are following categories of security services. First, authentication, the assurance that the communicating entity is the one that is claims to be. Basically, it has two parts, or we can say it can be categorized in two categories: pure entity authentication and data origin authentication. Second one, access control, and the third one, data confidentiality. It also are of four types: connection confidentiality, connection less confidentiality, selective field confidentiality, and traffic flow. Basically, security mechanism involves specific security mechanism, encipherment, digital signature, access control, data integrity, and the last one, authentication exchange. If you talk about model for network security, it just involves transferring a message between two parties over the internet. These parties establish a logical information channel using communication protocol like TCP or IP. Security techniques involves two components. First, a security related transformation on the information such as encryption or adding a code for sender verification. Second, sender information set by the two parties like an encryption key used with the transformation. Now the conclusion part. In conclusion, this paper emphasized the importance of robust online security. It advocates for layered protection, vigilant monitoring, user education, and proactive measures to safeguard sensitive information from evolving threats. These are the references for our research paper, which helps a lot. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
So we have presented all the video presentations, and now we will be concluding the sessions. Okay, and we thank you all for being the part of 4th International Conference on Contemporary Issues in Business Management and Information Technology, that is CIBMIT 2024, organized by Amity Business School, Amity University Patna. And on behalf of Amity Business School and Amity University Patna, I thank you all for being part of this international conference. So I'll end the session.